Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Fumbles and Fame Dungeons and Dragons stream. Now, tonight we would normally be playing. Excuse me, I shouldn't have that as loud. Right. Tonight we would normally be playing Curse of Strahd, but we are down a DM, and you can't really play a game without a DM. So we've decided to change things up a little bit, and we've decided to go for a one-shot for the evening. I'm going to be DMing instead to change things up. And we're going to be running a little game called Magic Village for Sale, which is my MT Black, and it's up on the DM's Guild, if you guys want to check that out. I can't recommend it as yet, because we haven't played it, but hopefully by tonight you'll have an idea of how it plays out. It looks fun on paper. Before we get started, just very briefly, it's very important for us to note that Fumbles and Fame is not affiliated with, endorsed, sponsored, or specifically approved by Wizards of the Coast LLC. Now then, with that out of the way, I'm going to run into a very quick introduction from our players. So tonight we've got Jason. Jason, who are you going to be playing for us?
I am going to be playing, I have to look this one up, Shasta Kemra, or Shaz, a dragonborn sorcerer who takes the neutral chaotic neutral alignment to extremes.
Splendid. And we've also got Anne, who's back with us. Very glad to have Anne back.
Go away.
Thank you.
And you're going to be playing?
I am playing Cray, the half-orc bard, who will charm you and annoy you, and you will be begging for me not to come back to any Fumbles and Fame games ever again.
I've already got pretty clear indication that I'm going to have a problem player in terms of giving me headaches, and you're going to have a hard time beating him, let's put it that way. Tahina.
Hi everyone! Good of you to join us. I'm Tahina and I'm going to play Sayuri Tari. She's a tiefling warlock, but not your run-of-the-mill tiefling with horns and red skin or something. She is the daughter of an Akanoloth, so she has this fox-like ears and a bushy tail. And she's more on the shy, bookish side, but very curious.
But you are currently in a position where you appear as a human.
Yes, I don't look like a kitsune or something at the moment. She's looking like a normal, blonde, human female in her mid-20s.
Awesome. And finally we have Nate.
Hello. I will be playing Gwen Truestrike today. She is a human cleric of Ayun, and she is of the Divine Path of Arcana, which is interesting. I haven't tried it before, so it should be fun.
Awesome. So we're going to kick this off. Just very briefly, you might want to know who Fumbles and Fame are. It's a Discord-based D&D community. We're interested in all things D&D. We've got players, we've got DMs, we've got world builders, we've got art creators, the whole works. If you guys want to check us out, links are down there somewhere underneath the Twitch box. Come say hi. And if you want to play, there's games out there with slots open. Come join in. We'd love to have you. But tonight we're going to be going to a little place called Longsaddle. It's a sleepy little hamlet lying on the trade roads to the east of the Neverwinter Woods. It's the height of spring in the South Coast, and this is evident in the village as most of the inhabitants are busy nurturing newly planted crops in the sprawling fields. In spite of the workloads on the farms, the village square is still a bustling hive of activity, for it is market day, and many good folk from miles around have made a special journey into town to shop for supplies, hawk their wares, and chat with old friends. Some travellers, however, have sought refuge away from the hubbub, and for that there is no better place than the Golden Goose Tavern. A well-maintained, spacious building spanning 2 floors, the Golden Goose is a step above the simple rustic inns usually found in peasant villages. Timber floors are actually swept, the air doesn't reek of cattle handlers, and there's actually more than one type of ale on offer. Now, as it's barely past noon, the innkeep, a burly human by the name of Godwin Tuckett, has a few hours to go before business picks up, but that doesn't mean he can ignore the custom that he does have. Hanging above the bar, amidst a scattering of very old and worthless-looking shields, and the occasional animal skin, is a large carving of a goose's head. And even with a cursory glance, it is very easy to tell that it does indeed appear to be golden. Godwin stands underneath it, keeping a careful eye out for telling gestures from his patrons as he wipes the oaken bar down with an oily rag.
Okay. Right. Approached one of the few patrons of the inn. Is a lithe, slim, white-skinned dragonborn. Nothing too remarkable than the fact that he's got bright magenta eyes that sort of watched Godwin for some time, and he gets up and makes his way over to the barkeep. He's just going to smile and says, "Hey, Godwin! God! Win! Goddy! Witty! Oh,
Aye.
God almighty! You look good. Did you lose weight in the last 20 minutes? So, Giddy, I would like to order another pint of your finest ale. And feel free to stick that on my tab, if you would so please."
Certainly, sir. And he certainly does the bit under the bar, pulls out a nice tankard of ale that's frothing over, slides it across the bar to you.
You're too kind, my good man. Right, how much can I expect to be added to my tab?
Oh, a couple of silvers, the usual.
Couple of silvers? Is that what I've been paying?
Well, as far as now, you haven't actually paid, but that's what you will be paying.
Then I will make sure I keep it that way. Excuse me, sir. And he goes.
As you do that, he reaches under the bar and he pulls out a very large club and gives it a poof straight on the desktop.
Whoa! That escalated quickly, didn't it? What's that for? Tenderizing your meat?
This, he says, and he points to the club and a bit of an indentation on the side. This is from the last man who didn't pay me silvers. Pulls out a tooth from under the bar. This is the bit I kept.
These small towns. Okay. Right, 2 silver. And with that, he's going to see. I'll actually see if I've got this. Right. I do not actually have the spell that I wanted. Bollocks. Should have said that beforehand. Okay, no, that's fine. He's just going to just sort of lean in and smile and say, like, you didn't seem to object to those last coins I gave you, even though they were counterfeit.
At that, he straightens up. The club comes up. In that case, you're going to be owing me a lot more silver.
Look!
And he reaches for the mug and he drags it back out, or goes to drag it back out of your hand.
I think we're going to leave that there for the time. I want somebody to walk in on this.
Let's pause just so I can say, Jason, I love you.
That went well.
I love that
Straight from the off.
already.
So, Jed, I had a plan.
So you're leaving it there with Godwin, yeah?
I'm going to leave it there and let
Alright.
somebody walk in on that.
Is there anybody out there doing anything particular in the tavern at the moment?
You can hear someone tugging on the strings of a lute, and then suddenly this song starts filling the room. Oh, there was a man named Ragnar the Red. He came all the way from the great Rorikstead. Ding, ding, ding. So, in the corner where the local bard usually resides, you can see a rather tall and buff half-orc woman with slicked back white hair in a purple and gold elven outfit with one shoulder naked. And you can see what appears to be either a very large spider sitting on her shoulder or a very realistic tattoo peeking from under her outfit. And she is playing a song, singing, and she rolls a 18 on performance check to see how well she sings about the great hero Ragnar the Red, who came from the great old Rorikstead.
It's the common classic, and it's almost flawless on the delivery. There's not a lot of patrons in the tavern at the moment. It's around about noon, so you expect it to get busier towards the evening, but it's a good warm-up song, and the few people that are there that aren't caught up in the altercation at the bar, who are currently laying wages on it, the few that are there are chucking a few coins in your general direction, and you do make, say, 20 silvers on tips.
Yes.
Can before just as this was going on, as the money's flying. Okay, so assuming that Godwin and Shaz are locked in a mortal struggle, pulling this pint glass back and forth.
Sure.
Hearing this voice, Shaz is actually going to look over his shoulder towards this new bard, and smile's going to light up his face, and forgetting the tankard in an instant, he's just going to let go just as Godwin's pulling on it.
And Godwin, it comes back. He manages to catch it from spilling. A little bit of it falls on a very soiled apron that he's got. The tankard disappears back under the bar, and he just fixes you with a grimace, crosses his arms, and just glares you down.
He's just meanwhile this Dragonborn is looking, just staring at the singing orc now, and he just doesn't seem to notice Godwin's even there as he sort of starts walking towards the stage area, the edge of the crowd, and they were like, "Whoa! Now that's what I'm talking about. It's about time you got some quality entertainment in here, Gotti." And then as the celebrations or the fanfare comes at the end, he's just going to start clapping and they go like, "Yeah, yeah, mama!" And then he sees all the coins flowing. He's like, "What's that? What's that? A silver? Oh, well, I'll give you something worth more than a silver." And he's going to lob a nearby chair
At the bard.
at the bard.
Well, I
That
was
escalated fast.
I should have laid out
I
ground
was-
rules about PvP combat.
Don't you worry.
I was having a fine evening of playing music until this mainlander just comes up and starts yelling, rudely interrupting my song, and then he throws a chair at me. So I'm gonna try to slice the chair on its flight with my rapier. And oof. Oh no, it's 17. Can I slice the chair?
Roll me a dex save as well.
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh,
Why did you say
you're
that?
determined to make this work as bad as possible, aren't you?
5.
Okay. Your rapier comes out in a blink of a flash, and it does slice clean through clean through the middle of the chair. But the two pieces smash. One goes flying over your shoulder, the other one catches you just on the side, and you do make contact. You take, let's have a look. 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Now I want to slap the asshole who threw a chair at me.
As you're trying to do that, the barkeep is up and over the bar, and the cudgel's straight back out. He's making a beeline straight for this troublemaker.
We're going to roll initiative.
We're close to it, Craig. I'm going to let you respond.
How
He's gonna
dare you! I step off my little platform and I attempt to grab this scaly creature by the neck, which I assume it has, because I've dealt with many a lizard in my time. And I just lift it up a few inches off the floor, and I'm just violently shaking it.
If she's going to get that close, he's actually going to... I'd like to cast Misty Step to avoid such a fate.
Misty Step's a reaction, right?
It's a bonus action. Considering she might have had... I don't know how far apart they were.
You
But I
tell me
think-
you were walking towards the stage to throw a chair at her.
Yeah, but only up to the line of where everybody was gathered. I don't actually know how far that was.
It's a small enough area that it'd probably be about 10 foot away, max.
Right, okay.
So what I would say is that if you guys want to do that,
Yeah.
you can roll me a contested initiative check, and we'll see who acts first.
Okay.
Seeing as it's a bonus action, not reaction.
As soon as I said that my initiative and my dexterity are shit, you just ask me to roll exactly.
I didn't choose
Oh,
to throw
Lord.
a chair at you.
It went under the table. 1 second. I have to re-roll.
17.
And that 20, motherfucker.
Ah! So, Chaz, you start to get the first initial gestures
10
of this spell off,
XP.
and then all of a sudden, and this hand launches around your neck in this vice-like grip. You are currently grappled.
Excellent. So he's just getting a sort of silly smile back to the thundering Godwin. He just goes like, female wrestling! No, this is great!
And I just slowly choke him to make him stop. Stop.
So realistic! It's hard to believe it's choreographed!
Alright, as you get over there, the barkeep is going to come and try and take this guy off you, so two massive burly hands just latch themselves on the back of this dragonborn and begin to pull him out of your hands. Cray, do you let him go?
No, I hold him and I say, no, I'll take him out myself. And I start carrying this dragonborn towards the exit, towards the back exit.
Alright, go for it. Yeah,
Come in, clerics. Save the murder.
The barkeep does go ahead of you, and he's got a smile on his face. He's clearly enjoying this, what's happening between you two. And he goes and he holds the door open for you.
I say, thank you, love, and give him a kiss.
The constant torrent of like, wait, no, we can talk about this. Wait, I'm innocent. Rape!
You threw a chair at me.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, really?
I was picking it up and it just slipped out of my hands.
I've seen men wickeder than you pull excuses better than this.
Well, it's not like I wanted to set high standards.
Of course you don't. And I find the nearest puddle of mud and drop him into it.
Alright, so there's plenty of puddles outside. It's a sleepy village. There's been rain. It's spring. So as you grab hold of this guy and just straight out the doors, and this white dragonborn just goes sailing out of the doors of this tavern, just straight in the mud about 5-10 feet away. And there's a lot of people stop, turn, look, and then they realise it's the inn. They're used to seeing this every now and again, but they're not used to seeing it from an orc. And as the innkeep just comes back up, he stands at the door and stay at, slams the door shut, and turns to Cray. I am so sorry. You won't be troubling you again anymore, but please, drinks on the house the rest of the night.
Well, the joke's on you. Those counterfeits were real.
I put a hand on the bartender, give him a wink, and say, "Thank you, love. Let's hope this is a start of a mutually beneficial partnership."
With that, he goes and he starts cleaning up, getting the pieces of the chair together and dragging them off into a back room. And he is true to his word. He does go and get you a pint as well. Whatever you've been drinking, he tops that up. And just, gets back to business. And keeping a constant eye on the door to make sure this prick doesn't come back in.
I'm just returning to my place and starting to tune my lute, which has been scratched in the process of the scrap.
Shaz, you find yourself outside the tavern in the midst of the long saddle market day. You're covered in mud. Doing anything particular? In fact, in retrospect, while I'm thinking about it, you also take 1 bludgeoning damage from the fall.
Right.
I dropped you so hard into the mud you took damage.
I'm going to leave him there for now and let the last two enter.
Okie doke. So, Gwen and Siri, what are you guys doing? If I'm pronouncing that right.
Sairi.
Siri, there we go.
Mhm.
Where are you guys at the minute? What's going on?
I'm
Sairi,
following
can
Gwen.
you start? Oh. So we're actually walking through town, and you'd hear the continuation of a conversation were you an onlooker. There's a tall woman with black hair and split mail over a very emerald green tunic, and her hair is wound in the back, braided. And at her side, there is a mace. On her arm, there's a shield. And those knowledgeable in religion would notice the symbol of Ayun, the goddess of knowledge, on that shield. Sairi, we'll make it a lot sooner if we quit dawdling and running off.
What do
We
you
do
mean?
have an appointment.
Do we have an appointment?
Tavern.
Oh, I don't know. I only saw that stall and they were selling those weird little creatures for pets. And I just wanted to look at them to see if they were magical.
Curiosity is fine, you know, but
They could not speak,
moderation.
so I thought they're most likely not. They call them chicken?
Yes, they can be pets, but normally we use them as food.
Okay. When you look at
And
me, do I still look good? I have my tail tucked and my ears hidden and my fangs as well. Is it all okay? And I nervously tap my head. You remind
Yes,
me if I
okay.
have to change it because... And she looks around, all those humans. We don't want those poor cutters to be freaked out, right?
Gwen smiles and she says, "Yeah, of course I'll remind you. We wouldn't want to scare folks, but
And
it might
Sairi...
help if we kept a little more to ourselves."
Okay. She stands very close to you. Okay. I will
And,
follow your lead. As always. You know, Gwen. You are going to show me how to do good things, and I will do them. And...
Of course.
Oh, did you see that bookstall over there?
We're on a tight schedule, my darling.
But there are books. Okay. Maybe later?
Maybe
And she has this whole stack of books under her arm. I could use some more. You gave me that book about etiquette and behavior in polite society, but I don't think I know everything I need to know.
Gwen smiles and she says, "Who am I to deny you books?" And she puts a couple of gold pieces in your hand and says, "Go ahead." And I would imagine about this time, across the way, the town square, we hear the ruckus as a poor man is thrown out into the dirt.
Absolutely. As you're approaching the tavern, you can see the big burly bartender standing in the doorway. There's a half-orc next to him who's in the process of just slinging this disheveled mess of a... It looks like a lizard man, almost. If you're familiar with Dragonborn, if you're not, it looks like a very tall white lizard. And the guy just comes flying out the doors straight into the nearest muddy puddle as you guys approach the the tavern.
Sairi is standing on her toes and whispers in Gwen's ears, Look, there is a dragon man. Do you think that's a cutter that escaped the cage as well? Do you think he's from Sigil? Like me?
They're not that uncommon around here, but I didn't know they could fly.
Oh! Should we
Landing looked a
ask
little
him?
hard for the poor fellow. We should probably go help him up.
Yeah. I go ahead and... Hey, what's up, Cutter? Need help?
What did you call me?
Cutter. It's a friendly term.
Oh. Well, help me up.
But that answers my question and I lose interest. So you're not from where I thought you're from.
What? What do you mean?
Never mind.
No. Come on. What do you mean?
What are you? And where are you from?
I am a very, very charismatic and virile male. And I came from that tavern over there. Speaking of which,
You have pretty pink eyes.
yeah, that's not the only thing that's pretty and pink.
Do males of your species always have pretty pink eyes?
I don't know, he's gonna look to her companion totally seriously, and he's just saying, like, do you speak normal?
What is it? I open a book and try to reread. I think I spoke normal. What was wrong this time? I go through the pages looking for some stuff that I wrote down about greeting stuff.
I mean, she's
Crazy.
talking at me like I'm the biggest turd in her bowl.
Gwen chuckles a bit, and she puts out a hand and says, "Yes, I speak normal. Up you go," and she'll help you to your feet.
Well, perhaps you can translate this. That I require back into where I came from, namely over there, pointed to the tavern, and for this honor, I ask for, can you give me money?
This is the most American character there has ever been.
I know, it's hurting my pride. No.
Nate
I love
sounds
him,
straight up Australian after that American accent.
Oh, I'm feeling super attacked. No.
I want to get them mixed up.
Does this count as cultural appropriation?
I don't-
Americans have no culture.
Excuse me, sir, but I don't think that we can give you money because I wrote down we can give money to people that we buy stuff from when we sleep in their houses, when they give us food.
You're religious. You got to give me
No.
something. He's actually just completely ignoring this woman there, or just focusing purely on Gwen.
All right. And Gwen will smile. She's actually quite charmed, even if your charisma is not great. No, I'm kidding. She's actually quite charmed, and she'll smile and say, "I might be able to spot you something, but you owe me a drink." And she'll pull a gold coin out and she'll hand you one.
Anything larger?
Oh, ungrateful little chap, but that's what you get for now, my friend.
Oh no, I'm grateful. And he sort of smiles a bit and notices how, say she's a looker, Gwen. Would you say?
What's that?
Would you say she's a looker?
I would say she is somewhat plain, but not ugly or not unpretty.
That's enough. He's just going to make as if to flick the coin back, and he's just going to say, you can save yourself this gold to perform certain services. Wait, you're not one of those celibacy freaks, are you?
Knowledge comes in all forms, and I do collect.
Oh, so that means yes. Fine, thank you. And he's going to take the gold coin and make his way to the tavern.
Presumptuous as well. She smiles at Cyrus.
I look at you and say, that's an apple chaser if I ever saw one.
And she nods. Keep an eye on him, but he seems harmless.
Did I just seriously rob somebody that easily? Without having to do any sleight of hand or any persuasion checks?
It's player to player, so you guys make your own choices there.
Did you actually steal a coin from her?
Effectively, he didn't need it, did he?
Oh, yeah, not really.
Pay off his drinking debt. Not really
Neither did she, apparently.
Or what counts as poor and hungry.
I think the entertainment is what she paid you for from when she saw you get thrown out of the tavern.
Oh, touche.
Why can he look
He
like
doesn't
this and no one bats an eyelash?
Well,
Ask you.
Dragonborn are from, this
He has a
plane.
tail. You did have a tail, right?
Of course.
Do you have a tail?
No, I chopped it off. I didn't say it, but I chopped it off with the
They grow
daughter.
back.
Endless supply of tail.
So am I certain that he's a Dragonborn, Sam?
Say again, sorry?
Am I certain that you're a Dragonborn?
Yes. There's no fatality.
Okay.
He's basically got a set of rather tattered leather coat and sort of robes underneath it, very loose and very kind of vagrant looking, to be honest.
Okay. And then, did you say you headed back into the tavern? With
Yes.
that? Gwen will smile at Sairi and say, well, looks like we're all going to the same place. Shall we?
Yes. I still follow close behind you. Very close.
I thought I heard
Petting nervously my
a song
head.
about... Go ahead.
I'm just I'm fidgeting nervously with my clothes, making sure that the tail is tucked and that you can't see ears. I have this little mirror that I take out of my pocket now and then to make sure that nothing is showing that isn't supposed to show.
You look fine, dear. If we hurry, maybe we'll catch the next song. I thought I heard Ragnar playing. Or a song
Oh,
about Ragnar.
Is this like
let's
D&D's
find them.
version of Journey?
So as you head back into the tavern, Shaz, obviously you're in the lead, and as soon as the innkeep claps eyes on you, he's straight back up with the cudgel. I thought I made it clear to you.
Whoa! Godwin, it's okay. I got a nice gold piece right here for you. How much was it again?
That the only one you've got?
More, huh? Okay. Well, I guess that... Don't be a dick.
Hand it over.
Fine. Well, it looks like I'll have to find more priests to swindle.
And I hear this as I walk in the
As you
door?
say that,
No,
yeah,
excuse
the two
me.
people behind you walk into the tavern, pretty much
Oh,
side by side with you, passing by you as you say that.
She just
Well,
smiles
excuse
and
me.
shakes her
Thank
head.
you. Thank you, Godwin, for taking money from the church. You know, they help all the children. All of them.
Godwin snatches the gold coin from you. Any more harm from you, and I shall be calling the town guard.
Well, that's okay, so I can stay.
You're not getting any more drinks till I see coin through it, lad. But you
What?
stop slinging chairs at folk, and maybe I'll let you go with your legs not broken.
What? Does the concept of a tab not mean anything to you?
For you, no.
Come on. All right. Those are you priests.
And he looks to the other two
I
of
love
you
this.
after Shaz has dealt with. Sorry about that. Mild altercation. Nothing to worry about. What can I get you?
He died for our sins, asshole. Sorry, yeah, that's just in the background.
This one's a lively
That-
character, isn't he?
I'm worried already.
Who died? I asked Gwen. I look around for corpses.
I wouldn't pay too much attention.
Probably not important, my dear.
Huh.
Well, welcome to the Golden Goose. Would you like a drink? Meals? A room?
My good man, a room would be lovely.
Oh, 10 gold a night.
10 gold!
It's
Is
market
that the...
day. Busy in town.
That's no, sir. Surely you mean 5 gold.
No, 10. Definitely 10.
Guy.
I look at Gwen. This is an outrage, right?
You can share a room if that prefers. 5 gold apiece then.
Yes, let's do that, okay?
Gwen will nod. It's a little steep, but if it's market day...
Hmm.
Oh, looks like it's taking advantage of this poor working man.
I'd actually like to do an insight check to see if I know if he's charging us too much because we look like we're not local.
Go for it.
Roll for racism.
Yeah, probably too careful with those Trump voters.
I got 11. Let me just see what my... Still getting used to this app I'm using for my character sheets. My computer's down.
Mhm.
plus 6, 17.
Okay, you can tell that this is not the normal price he charges.
Okay, I can tell that it's quite a bit more.
It's, yeah. You would probably assume that a normal customer, somebody local, would probably get about half that.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, I'll pay the 10 gold, even though I know that.
Right, he takes it from you, and he goes behind the bar, gets a big iron key off a rung, and hands it to you. Up the stairs, first room on the left.
Thank you, my good man.
Hope you enjoy your stay.
I'm sure we will. When does the market start?
Oh, it's already started, but it'll be in full swing by mid-afternoon, I reckon.
Excellent. Well, I will have to check it out. And thank you for your services, and she'll...
Is there anything particular you're looking for?
We are here to meet someone.
And who might that be? I tend to know most people coming through this tavern, and most people coming to Longsaddle come straight through here. Might be I've seen them.
Might be. And she won't say more.
Fair enough. Keep your business to yourself, I see how it is. Would you at least like a drink?
Are you offering?
I'm a barkeep,
And
it's
she'll
tends to be how I make my money.
she'll
like.
look at the gold in his hand and just like raise an eyebrow, like to try to indicate that she knows that it's a little more than she ought to be paying.
You see
And-
a slow smile creep up in between this big bushy black beard, and he goes under the bar to pull out 2 glasses. First round's on the house, eh?
I like you. Thank you.
What would you
And
like?
she'll clap him on the shoulder and say, "Good man."
Okay, Shaz is actually going to stumble next to her.
Just
Just say, "Hey, it works for her."
Aye, but she's not throwing chairs at folk.
Fine, then give me a drink, and I will give you my real coin.
You can bloody well wait your turn. And he turns back to these new customers. Now, what is it you're after? What would you like?
Just a porter if you have it.
Yeah, he certainly does. Slides one
Me
across to
too,
you.
please.
Which one, sorry?
Me too, please.
Okay, yeah, 2 potions. Enjoy, feel free to take your table. There's plenty of space, it won't fill up again till evening.
So Gwen will nod and wait for Sairi to take her drink and follow her to a table.
I grab the drink, balance my books under one arm and the drink in the other hand, and then make my way to the next free table.
There's plenty
You did
to choose
remember to
from,
pay
so you
for those
can...
books, yes?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, right.
Oh, I said you did remember to pay for those books, yes?
Those are mine. I did not have the chance to go to the bookstore.
Oh,
of course I
yeah.
paid for them. What do you take me for?
I thought, out of character, I thought that those were books that you'd purchased.
No,
when we were
no.
outside.
Those
Never
are
mind.
my usual books. Those are the reading books for the way, right? You know? And then I point at my backpack, and I have this big pouch at my hip with this rectangular shape. I really need to get my hands on one of those haversacks or bag of holding where I can fit a whole library in. I say as I put down the glass and sit down, place the books on the table, pull my tortoise out of my robe and sit on top of the book. You take care of them and watch them very closely, Charles.
Okay, are you still
It's my
playing?
familiar.
What?
Are you still playing at this point?
Yes, and I'm playing a little song about what happens to just a random white dragonborn. And the song goes a little bit like this. They rode him around and around the field till they came into a barn. And there they made a solemn vow of poor white dragonborn. They hired men with crabtree sticks who cut him skin to bone. But the miller he served him far than that, for he ground between the stones. And it goes like that.
Did you just write that?
Nope. That's how can you not know Sir John Barleycorn by Robert Burns? You shameful Englishman.
Yeah.
In fairness, I'm with him. I didn't know it either.
Oh, you.
I did recognize it.
Well, it's not
Why-
Ragnar, but it is nice.
I love it.
Splendid.
So-
I'm open for requests.
Shaz is actually going to while she's singing, Craig's singing along. Again, Shaz, when he when it's his turn in front of the bar, he's just going to get out a silver coin, and he goes like, "Right then, I'll have a pint of your second, sorry, your second best ale. But I do not want the first, not because I'm too poor, but because it displeases me and gives me gas."
Are you handing him the coin before you do anything else?
He's going to put it on the bar.
All right. He takes the coin and he bites it. Now, I want you to tell me if this is genuine or not.
It's genuine.
Right. So satisfied with that, he tucks it away in a coin purse, and he goes again behind the bar and pulls another draught of ale. Can you tell me what your passive perception is?
That's a good question.
In fact,
It's
actually, we'll
13.
have an insight check from you.
Oh, okay.
That might be easier.
Won't he just...
Insight. That's fine. What is insight? Is that wisdom?
I believe so.
I can check for you.
Well,
Won't he
it's
just be
4
able to
anyway.
taste this bit?
Don't worry, it's 4.
It's 4. Okay. Yeah, you believe that he has definitely given you the second best ale.
Okay.
And a little saliva to go with it. Insights with wisdom, by
Well
the way.
done. This is going to end well. So yeah, Cass is going to take this over to to in front of the stage. They're sort of setting up on an empty table, and he's going to put the mug on the table, and then he's going to cast. I'm going to see if I can do this. Can I cast enlarge? Well, enlarge, as in enlarge / reduce.
What are you trying to cast it on?
On the pint.
Yeah, I'm presuming so. Is it something that affects a creature, or is it an object, or what?
Object.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see why
Now,
not.
let's have a quick look. So it doubles in all dimensions, and its weight is multiplied by 8.
Okay. You can certainly cast it. As you do so, the pint glass does indeed expand, widthways and up, and you hear the table as it struggles to accommodate this new weight, but it does hold.
I swear to God, if any of that is getting on my dress.
This.
You think you'd cheat me out, Godwin? Say,
No
I'll
magic.
get my money's worth.
There's no magic in this tavern. None that's sanctioned by the Arpels, at any rate.
He's just clambering up this pint glass now, this massive and giant pint glass, and just positioning himself on the tip, ready to dive in.
I'm
How long
intrigued,
does that
but
spell
that's
last?
not enough to preview.
It should last long enough to drink it, I should think. Up to 1 minute. So he's going to be going for
Right.
fast.
Are you going to try and drink this whole thing in a minute?
He's going to friggin' try and get
Alright,
this.
make me a con save.
He's gonna drown in it, man.
Right.
He's gonna die.
It's alright. It's the one thing I'm good at. It's conning people. That's right. So, come on now. What's our proficiency bonus?
At level 4, bear with me a second.
Plus
I'll
3, I
double
think?
check. I think it's 3. I could be wrong.
Right, so that's 3. Right, 3 plus 3. So 6. Plus 6. 17.
Bear with me 1 second. It's 2, so it'd be 16. Sorry.
Right.
So 16. I would say that it is enough that you can get 2/3 of the way down this pipe before it begins to constrict and shrink back down to its regular size.
I think he's would this kill him basically if he left it to just shatter, or will it do it in such a way that it just simply shatters around him and creates a mess?
What are you doing? Are you perched on the lip trying to drink from it? Are you inside it?
I would like to. He's inside it, yeah, or at least part
Okay.
of it. A part of him is, however big it was. Yeah, it's. He's got. I mean, I'd like to try for him to just try and just drink every last bit he could, and not use common sense. I think this thing's gonna.
Well, I don't think common sense comes into your character. You've made that abundantly clear.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're not going to make any attempt to actually avoid what's happening, you feel this glass jar, in essence, just begin to constrict around you. Your body begins to tighten up a little bit in it, and you're still desperately looking for every last drop you can get. And
As this sort of happens, could he just be flailing around suddenly, screaming like, "Oh God! Oh God! Oh God!"
yeah, whatever you want.
I look
Yeah,
over
Gwen
the
will say-
table over there and I say to Gwen, what is the white-skinned egg player doing now?
Teaching
And-
us why it is important to observe and learn from others, I believe.
Huh.
And Gwen will turn and smile and just watch. But don't worry, we're quite on time. The sage said if we made it to this tavern, we would find our way.
And
Well, sorry, go on.
as the cup is shrinking, I'm just picking up the pace on the lute, and there's just like intense music going on.
Awesome. You can have inspiration for that. Yeah, so it starts to shrink down. Which way are you? Head down, I presume, to try and get as much as you can out of it?
He's sort of now walking upright with like hands, head, everything inside this glass,
Okay.
and just tottering around. You know, it's basically like a pint glass with legs. He's actually going to swing in front of the religious folk again.
Just, okay, yeah, go ahead. You know what, why not? You get a few seconds.
Help me!
There's
I don't know what's happening!
a trail of ale following you, the pits that you couldn't finish, and then after a second or two, it gets a little bit too tight, and then shatters. And the glass bursts all over the floor, and even the particles actually keep shrinking down until they get to the point of a normal shattered tankard. But
Oh.
you take 8 points of slashing damage as this glass just explodes around you.
We haven't even got out of the tavern yet.
I can see
He
why
just
the
kind of
place
looks.
it's gone.
He just kind of just looks at the priest and is like, "Whoa! Didn't all down in one."
That's
Not
another
a breath.
silver for that tankard.
Yeah, it's okay. You ought to use the cheap glass anyway.
I think I used a cheap bloody ale too.
Are you standing next to our table?
Yeah, it's pretty more in front of you if it's a sort of a booth, but yeah.
As you're yelling at the barkeep, Gwen will take a kerchief from her pack, and as you turn around, if you do, she'll offer it to you to clean up.
He just sort of leans forward and he says, like, "Okay, but be gentle."
So she'll actually she'll laugh a bit, and she'll just drape it over your nose and just expect you to do it.
So he's lying there with his snout and there's this handkerchief draped over. like one of the
Barkeep, I must
fitted
say-
things that grandmothers have at the back of their sofas, right?
He's just gonna look. He's just gonna look completely blankly.
I'm
Gwen.
laughing. In game
Barkeep, I must say the entertainment you hire is well worth the gold.
He's a great jester, I say, and applaud.
What?
I'll
What are you
also
saying?
start clapping, even though I know that he's a vagrant.
Are you a talent scout?
I'm a scout of sorts, a scout for knowledge.
Oh, which theatre company do you work for?
Oh,
Sorry,
perhaps you've heard
I
of-
like all of them, except for the tragedies and the comedies. Mostly
This
just
might
dealing
be a
horror.
little of both.
You like romance stories then?
he just looks blank, just completely dumbfounded at her. He said, "Does she ever talk normal?"
You get used to it.
Wait a second.
What kind of a deal are you gonna cut me? Because I won't take anything more or less than 8%.
Oh, you. And she'll just take the kerchief and swift it off your nose, and she'll fold it into a little square and put it in front of her on the table. She's not putting it back in her pack after it's all bloody.
Oh, let me help you there.
You've already had a cut today.
I put my finger on top of the handkerchief and with prestidigitation, I make it perfectly white and clean and dry.
And then
Here
she
you
will
go,
smile at you, and she'll put it back in her pack. You've already had a cut today, my friend. Perhaps that is enough.
Well, I could use some alcohol for these cuts.
Disinfect from the inside out. I like it. But I did give you enough for a couple of rounds, my friend. And she'll wink.
Well, what if it's more than a couple? I don't know. But this depends what I feel like and how much I've eaten.
Not one for moderation, are we?
Well, you can't drink on an empty stomach. That's just asking for trouble.
It's something you have experience with, I think. Asking for trouble.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm very dangerous. I'm a dangerous action star, theater actor.
Really?
You may have heard me.
Can you fight?
I can do more than fights. I can spell many, many words.
Well, if you'd like to join us, you might be what we're looking for.
Oh? What kind of performance is this?
Oh, it's not a performance. There's a mission.
A mission. I like it. Who's the hero?
Why, us?
Us. There's more than one.
Perhaps one more.
Oh, I hope. I just want you to know I do not do sidekick parts.
Of course.
As this
And you can
conversation-
tell Gwen. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead now. Go ahead.
You can tell that Gwen isn't one for taking the credit. She's definitely amused, not bemused by you. And then she says the sage wasn't clear, but he did say that there might be one or two more joining us on this little endeavor. They're often vague at the Swan Tower, you know.
Good. Good. But I warn you now, I will only tolerate a fraction of sexual impropriety. I know what you theater masters are like.
She just keeps chuckling. She finds it endlessly amusing.
While they are talking, I snook away.
The glass. And as the conversation begins to ebb a little bit, you suddenly hear a strange noise in the background. It's a bit difficult to pinpoint, but it's like almost a metallical grinding. It seems to be coming from above the bar, and as you look up, you can see the golden goose's head is actually beginning to move, and it begins to turn. And a second or two later, the beak begins to open and close, and there's one or two noises emanating from it. It sounds almost like a mumbling, and then a moment later, right. Can you hear me? No, not the yokels. No, the ones with the swords and things. You there? Can you hear me? And the head turns and it fixes on the table with the three of you there.
What's it to you?
You did not see my message, right?
Sorry, no, I can't
Yeah.
check in to look.
A few minutes ago, I was sneaking away to go over to the stage and chat up the bard, but never mind. Let's retcon that.
Okay, sorry.
So I'm still at the table.
Discord with the stream going.
It's okay.
I
So, yeah.
reluctantly interrupt my song because there's a giant golden bird speaking.
Yeah, even the bartender's actually stopped in surprise at this. He doesn't look completely shocked as you might expect, but he's stopped and looks a little bit, almost like a bit of reverence to him. And the goose continues without really acknowledging your statements. Right, perfect. I, by which I mean Tristan Harpill, not great. I have a need of some of your type. I expect that you have a need of gold and other shiny things. It's nothing special, really, just a jaunt off into the countryside. In return, I'll supply you each with 200 gold apiece.
Can I interrupt just ever so slightly?
Yes.
Just immediately after that, a copper coin comes sailing through the air towards him. Take it off!
Okay.
Quietly in the background.
It plinks off the goose and it doesn't get any reaction whatsoever. Now, I expect you all have questions, but we Harples are not in the habit of discussing business in public, so I won't be answering any. My colleague Carter, however, will be with you momentarily. I have supplied him with all the information you could possibly want. Ah, there he is now, I believe. And the goose's head turns and it looks towards the fireplace that has been quiet because it's middle of spring, it's middle of the day, it's not actually been on. And as the goose falls silent, you hear a faint mechanical clacking and the occasional scraping of metal on stone, which is accompanied by a shower of soot every now and again. And after a few moments, a small blackened object lands in the ashes of the previous evening's fire, and shaking itself off with very little actual effectiveness, springs up into the room. And this thing is a little bit bigger than a hand, really. It's not that big at all. And as the clouds of ash begin to dissipate, you see that the object appears to be a tiny bird of some sort.
Oh,
There we go. Anyway, I need to get this goose back into the right position, or Uncle Humphrey will be awfully grumpy with me. Toodaloo! And with that, the golden goose rotates back into its normal position, and the beak snaps shut.
sometimes I think the sages are vague so as not to ruin the surprise. She smiles.
What the hell was that?
Is that a baby goose? And I try to get a better look at the tiny bird.
As it does, as the goose falls silent, the little bird beats its wings and hops onto the table in front of you guys. And at this range, you can see it's not an organic creature. It's very much mechanical in nature. A pair of murky glass eyes examine you all silently, and the construct's head rotates a full 360 degrees, very much in a manner akin to an owl, and indeed it appears to be styled very much like an owl. And as it looks you over, its head suddenly snips back around, and then the little beak opens up. Hello, I am the cartographical assistant. Research, terrain, elevation, range, though Master Tristan prefers to call me Carter. I am here to assist you as much as I can, so please do not hesitate to inquire forthwith.
Do I notice if the bard is eyeing our table?
Gray, you eyeing the table?
I'm eyeing the table and I'm picking up my song again, which is an aggressive rendition of Classico, which goes like, "Can't you see he's the man? Can I hear you applaud? He's more than a man. He's a Dumbus lizard clawed." So,
Keep singing, you'll owe me royalties by the end of the night!
I would like to try to pick up the little owl and turn it around to inspect it.
Okay, it doesn't. You can pick it up, no problem. But it's basically very much an owl with the wings tucked in at the moment, and it is stationary as you touch it, so it doesn't appear to react in any way.
But I can hold it in my hand and turn it around, look upside down.
Mhm.
How does it work? And I start making notes about the mechanical body in my diary. And where are you going to send us? Carter,
If you
you
don't
say is your name?
mind,
Are you a little Modron? You look so pretty.
unhand me.
Hey!
I'm
Oh, dear.
sorry, and I put you down.
And it doesn't have feathers that it can ruffle, but as you look, it's got almost like it looks like scales designed to look like feathers all across its body. And as you watch, they all spring open, and it manages a mechanical, almost like it's ruffling its feathers, and it just works its way up and down the whole thing very indignantly.
I come very close to try to examine it.
So
That's what your innards look like.
there's a great, as if in reaction to those words, a great big crossbow slams down onto the table. And he says, like, well, how about I perform an autopsy right now? And we'll see what his insides look like.
I say, Master Tristan never told me I'd get involved with Rathians.
No, don't break him. I want to study him.
That's what you wanted.
I only want to study him without breaking him.
There will be
You're
no
looking
study.
inside him,
And
I find that difficult.
as this conversation goes on, it launches itself up and off the table, and it flies across towards the bard, and it hops up on the shoulder, actually. Alights on the shoulder of Cray. Perhaps
This
you would
reminds
be
me-
more interested in following the master's offer.
Oh, and there's our fourth.
Hey, I didn't realize there was an offer.
I look at the bird and I change into a very relaxing, just a pleasant noise-canceling tune as I look and say up to it and say, I do have a trouble following orders from masters, but I may be inclined to listen to what you're telling me.
Well, I don't expect Master Tristan will be your master, of course, but he is most certainly mine. But for all intents and purposes, he has an offer of employment for you.
What kind of employment?
Well, the gist of the situation is that Master Tristan has recently purchased a deed to the village of Silverleaf from Miss Freya Doomstaff, and he has not been able to visit his new holdings himself, is quite keen for a group of talented individuals to inspect them on his behalf.
That does.
Ask him
That's-
about his dental policy.
Shut up. Shut up. I apologize. That one does not know when to shut its mouth. In any case, although I do believe that your master may have done a mistake because, unfortunately, buying property, let alone one that comes with tenants and such, without inspecting it first seems at bad taste. But to help out a fellow, hopefully, a good-natured patron, I would be willing to inspect that village. What would
Splendid.
be the let's say the payment for such a deed?
The Masters authorised 200 gold pieces to any interested parties willing to endeavour to go and visit. That's 200 apiece, mind you.
Well, consider me hired.
Splendid. Splendid. Now, would the rest of you, once you've finished prodding and poking, would the rest of you have equal intent, shall we say?
I look at
I
Gwen.
do apologize for the poking and prodding. But go
Well,
ahead, sorry.
This wasn't
Yes,
really
well.
poking. I was just picking him up and looking at his downside.
There
I'm
are
so
no
sorry.
downsides to the cartographical research assistant.
You would do well to learn that not all things
I
respond
didn't
well
want to say at your bottom.
unrequired touching.
But I will
would-
say curiosity isn't a sin.
No, how would you learn anything if you weren't curious about the world, right?
Right.
But you must know that as a known talent, I do require a little bit more gold than 200. Because quite
I can-
frankly, I'm not very motivated to do this.
I can take his share.
Splendid. I'm glad you've worked that out.
Wait, what?
I suppose we could do it with 3 if necessary.
3 is a good number. I read a book about 3 sort of sword fighters. I don't remember their names. It was
Yeah,
3
3's
though.
lucky.
Yeah.
And she'll wink at the Dragonborn as if to say, like, she's being ornery.
The
Oh,
Master
fine.
is quite keen to remark upon the fact that it's not going to be a particularly difficult endeavour. I mean, Silverleaf lies but 3 days' walk from here, and all he wants is an appraisal of the property, make sure everything's tickety-boo.
What?
He wants to know that
Like-
the property's in working order, that everything he's paid for is there and serviceable.
Like I said, Sir Bird, I'd be glad to take his share.
Wait, no. She gets 200.
Then, well, The master did offer 200 apiece, but I mean, if you don't want it, it's just the Dragonborn. I'm sure the master wouldn't mind your share going to the others.
I think I would mind quite a lot.
So you do want to come?
That's what I said.
Splendid.
Like you could do this without me?
Gwen will smile and again, amused. And
But
sorry
I
if I
swear-
interrupt anybody. I can't see faces because I'm switching on my phone back and forth to my
No
character
No worries,
sheet.
man. No worries.
But rest assured,
Sorry,
when I
I'll do
return, I will return with a very big, heavy, blunt object. And then we'll examine your insides.
Are you
And,
going to come with us, Carter?
as you make that threat, Carter leaps from the shoulder of the orc and jumps up onto one of the rafters, quite high up and very much out of your reach. And it gazes down at you with these pair of murky grey eyes that the construct seems to have. There will be no bludgeoning. The master will charge you far more than 200 gold to replace me, I can assure you.
He's going to look to the others just for their facial reactions.
Gwen has an eyebrow raised and she'll say, Carter, no worry. You're not to come to any harm in this group.
I said after.
It ruffles its feathers again, and it looks as indignant as it can without really having an expression. But it hops back down, it lands on the table in front of you this time. Well, if you're all amenable to the master's offer, I shall be more than happy to accompany you to Silverleaf.
Gwen looks at
Perfect.
Cyrene. and
That sounds good to me.
Give me
Excellent.
2 hours to gather my belongings, and I'll be off with you.
Oh, and we did pay all that gold for the room tonight.
Gold comes and gold goes. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Well, I suppose we could set off in the morning, if it's more amenable. The master's quite keen to see what's going on, but, well, he's already had to wait 4 weeks after sending his last servant, so I'm sure another day won't delay things any further.
What happened to
Hold
the
on.
last servants?
He doesn't
Exactly
know.
what she.
Neither of us know, to be perfectly honest. That's quite why we're hiring you. We want to find out what's happened to the poor devil.
It
Right,
was
so
devil
we-
you said and it didn't came back? What did...
No.
Do you
No,
think it was a
heavens,
demon?
no. Devils? Who hires devils? Gods, no. No. It was a human, a chap by the name of Derek Dunhill, but he's been in the master's employ for quite some time. But 4 weeks ago, the master sent him to do exactly as you're doing now, and he simply hasn't come back.
Well, if he's still in one piece, we'll bring him back in one piece.
Yes, if there's no devils involved, we bring him back.
Splendid. I'm sure it's a minor setback, if anything else. I mean, it's Silverleaf after all. What could possibly be happening there?
Sam,
Minor
I have a
setback.
question.
Yes.
What do I roll to see if I have ever slept with a man named Derek Dunhill?
History check.
Yeah, let's do a history check.
Oh my god. History, what do I have in history?
I will be right back. Sorry, I have to...
Yeah, no worries.
Could be
It's-
sleight of hand, depending.
It's 14.
You have not.
Damn it.
What about anybody else?
We're not going to go down her history of partners. That's backstory stuff.
It would be a first. I'm pretty sure.
You will have to have a plus 20 on history checks to go down my personal, my partners list. I'm a rock singer, you know.
Right.
So the bird,
Evening.
such as it is quite settled on the table. So we'll set off in the morning, shall we?
Right before you give me some money to buy another drink.
I'm afraid I don't carry any money. There's not a lot of room in here.
Well, his eyes sort of innocently travel up and down him. What are you made of?
It seems it's difficult for a construct to do it, but it almost seems to shrink a little bit. It's like the feathers tighten up that little bit more. That's for the master to say. I don't honestly know. Nothing valuable, I'm sure.
Insight check
If
to
you'd
see
like
if
a
he's bluffing
perception
on my
check, you
part.
might be able to work out what he's made of.
No, that's absolutely fine. It's unnecessary.
Okay. I had a feeling it would be, but yeah.
Just let me know when he looks like he's about to take off.
He's not far off it. If you make a move to him, there's a good chance he probably will.
Then, if nobody else is going to interrupt or say anything, then he will hold now forever. Answer now forever. Hold your peace. He's going to stand up and make a grab for the little fella.
Okay, roll me a sleight of hand, I think, would probably be the best for this. See how quick you are with it. So you can catch him before he takes flight.
Oh, I've got proficiency in that as well. Is that Dex?
Yes, I think it is.
Can I roll as a reaction to smack his hand, just like a mother would?
Yeah, you can contest it. I would say again, sleight of hand.
I got a 7 plus 2 plus 1.
I got an 18 plus 4.
Okay, the
Too
bird
quick
got
one.
a nat 20.
Oh! Did everything right.
So you're quick, but it's quicker. It springs back, and you can almost hear a mechanical spring from its feet as it jumps back on the table, and then the wings come out, and it's up and it's away.
He's going to flail after it. Hey, come back here, bird! Godwin! Help us with the bird!
And it
And Gwen had put her
lashes
hand
itself
out
onto
and then
the
just
golden
slowly
goose
draws
at
it
the top.
back.
I think he's going to follow it out and down the street.
No, it's staying in the tavern. It's alighting on top of the golden goose.
Ah, right, okay.
I shall
He's
have
gonna
to have
follow
words with the master about this.
He's going to try and follow him, climbing whatever things. You guys probably best continue while he's doing that in the background.
Is that normal behavior? I asked Gwen.
Define normal, I suppose, but one mustn't bite the hand that feeds you, and he will learn someday.
It's not in the book that you gave me about manners and etiquette.
Some things are a little more subjective to other people.
Then why do you make me abide by those rules?
Not so much make, encourage, my dear.
Nice. Okay.
It just allows one
It's very
to fly.
disruptive behavior. I think I know what you mean.
Yes, and one doesn't want to draw too much attention in our current situation, and she'll nod at you a little bit.
I'm going to concentrate to reinforce the mask of many faces, make sure that I'm still looking like this young, blonde-haired human woman with light-colored green eyes and a slightly shaggy hairdo. Her hair looks a bit like the hairdo from Jared the Goblin King. Like a refugee from the 80s.
Nice.
Nice.
So, is anybody doing anything particular before we wrap it up for the evening and move it into morning?
I just take 2 minutes to introduce myself to the 2 ladies that arrived with the
Yeah, go
dickhead,
for it.
and I walk down the stage, put my lute on the back, and extend my hand towards the older one first, and I say, "It seems that we shall be joining our forces for the foreseeable future. I'm Craig."
Great, nice to meet you. How pleasant that we should be traveling together. My name is Gwen.
Gwen, and this young creature is? And she looks
My dear.
towards the younger lady with her deep-set eyes.
If you say creature, I will hold up Charles, my tortoise. That's Charles. He's very pleased to make your acquaintance. He says you are very pretty. And I'm Sairi. I'm also pleased to make your acquaintance, and I hold out my hand.
I shake her hand and stare at the creature she produced. What is it exactly?
It's a tortoise, like a turtle, but a land-dwelling turtle. It has this
And,
very freakishly big beak-like mouth and big eyes.
And as I shake her hand and I ask her, I remember having creatures similar to this around my home when I was a child. They never told us to pick them up. They say it hurts, as if someone picked you up by your own backbone.
Does it hurt you, Charles?
And he's just like, oh!
You never complained to me before.
That's the first time I've heard him shriek like that. No, I'm kidding.
Wait till
He
you
says
just
he
hear
likes it.
Oh my god, he looks...
Did you
He
know
looks
that
stoned.
did you know that if you took paper and put it on his back and carefully rub it, you get this like print-like rubbing off his back? And every time I send him to the place he comes from and call him back, it's a little bit different. And I think that there is a wisdom hidden in those back rubbings. I try to decipher them.
That's how they say orcs got their alphabet.
Ah.
From a giant
So
tortoise.
can you read it? And I hold up some papers to you. Do you know what the
No,
secret is?
I'm not an orc.
Not?
No. Unfortunately, it's more likely that the orcs were just drunk one evening and came up with a letter system that they could understand. Tortoises would be far too intelligent to let orcs rub their backs for a prolonged amount of time.
That is true. And I give Charles a kiss and then sit back on my book and hand him some letters or from my robe.
And so in the background, you hear a almighty clatter of pans, and you just hear, "Why do you care? You're not even self-aware."
Gwen is smiling at the interaction between the bard and Syri, and then she just blinks and then looks in his direction as she hears that, like, and then shakes her head. That one's trouble.
He threw a chair at me early this evening. Oh, one does not always choose his entire company. I shall announce this party a success if out of what we are, 4 of us?
Well,
If 2 out of...
let's say 3.5, and I do hope that chair was at least worth a silver.
It was worthy dropping him out in the mud, and that sensation was far worth more than a silver.
She claps her hand and says, "That was you? Oh my goodness, we will get along just fine."
I wink at Gwen and say, let's keep it at that, dear.
Okay.
Are you taking him along those white-skinned Egglair just to torture him? I asked
The
the
sages have a funny sense of humor. So
I like the
douche.
sage sense of humor then. Do you think we could turn him pink so he would match his eyes?
All
other
we need
things,
is a little
apparently.
bit of rouge and a lot of water.
I'm sure we could get those.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, or 1 to 20, what do I need to roll to hit on Syri?
Yes.
I don't know. Just roll me a persuasion check. We'll see
Oh, Lord.
just where you're at.
19.
Okay, Syri, how effective is a 19 to hit on you?
I'm intrigued.
And I tell her, well, in my bedchambers there are more than one kind of rouge.
You just have you just there, yeah, and Sash is there right next to you with a bottle of olive oil.
All of a sudden,
He just hands it to her. It's like, I believe you will be needing this later.
I take the bottle of olive oil, uncork it, and douse it all over the dragon bone.
Can I roll a dex save or something on that as well?
Yeah.
Give me a critical fail.
You know, when I said this was a combat heavy module, I did not expect it was going to be because of the place.
It's the violent one.
Yes, of course.
By the way, while they're
So,
doing this, Gwen's just gonna say, "Knowledge comes in all forms, my dear," and then pat Sairi on the shoulder and walk up to the room. Call if you need me.
I got a dex of 18.
Was that a
Okay.
code?
Save.
Was that code for a threesome? No.
No, you think she meant that if you need her help.
That's what I've been thinking. all night.
Cray, you can roll me to do. Just roll to hit, just roll an unarmed attack. In essence, you're not going to do damage, but I just want to see if you can get above an 18 to
That's
actually
tr-
do what you want to do.
That's strength based, right?
Yes. Yes, I believe it is.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Yes, you just get this weird, slimy sensation start from the top of your scales and straight down your snout and all down your back. And within seconds, you were just smothered. You look like you've just come from a really hot wrestling match.
Oh! I didn't
Ben.
realise that you were into the menage. I will wait up in your quarters, and we will begin. And he's going to actually toddle off in the direction of the stairs.
I'm not interested in that. I
Me
say very
neither.
matter of factly.
As you head towards the stairs, Godwin stands. He's been keeping an eye on you the whole way through, and he plants himself back in front of him. You're not going anywhere near them rooms, lad. Outside with you.
I'm a paying customer, dick.
The only thing you've paid for is some straw in the stables if you're lucky. Now get out.
Fine, but you will hear from my lawyer on this.
He makes a threatening step towards you, the cudgel tucked away in his belt.
Don't worry, someone will be here with some kind of a recording spell ready to capture this excessive force,
And he
which
starts,
I will turn to my advantage.
he starts herding you towards the door.
Okay, he's gonna slightly edge his way, like a pigeon sidling away from a cat.
And eventually he's going to get you very much outside
I'm going.
and done.
Now,
I would
now
like-
you're shiny though. Like a Turkish wrestler.
Yes, that's the one. Perfect.
Oh, dear.
I look
Oh, yeah.
at Gray with this intrigued expression on my face, and I say, "Do you know? Have you ever heard of people that are descended from those from the lower planes?"
Do I actually? The part of lore. Is it a history check?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say
I,
history on
I,
that
I
one.
believe they call them tieflings here.
12.
Yeah, you've heard of tieflings. You're not particularly well versed in their lore or anything like that, but you definitely know they exist, and they're occasionally known to wander the Forgotten Realms, but they're pretty rare, and they're generally disliked.
Do you think that it matters who your parents are to tell what kind of person you are?
Yes to both of those, because I do remember a very interesting young gentleman back in Mordant Isles. He used to call himself a tiefling, but I'm not sure. I was let's say I was disappointed with the size of his horns when I got to see them. But in regards to the parents' question, unfortunately, your pedigree is detrimental to your success in life.
So you put a lot into that.
It was not me who put it there. It was the gods and the society.
I see. Well, I'm very flattered by. I need to go. I pick up my books and go.
Cock blocked by a boomerang.
Oh, brilliant.
So
I wonder if it's like the bard assumes that she's talking about the lizard man or the dragonborn. So there was a misunderstanding.
Crosswise.
The best kind. Yeah, the best kind.
Right.
All right. So if you guys are done with the afternoon's RP, shall we say, we'll move it on into nightfall
Okay.
and the following morning. And what we will do before we begin the next day, we'll take a short break, and we will be back very, very soon. So don't go anywhere.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. We are back once again with the remainder of our evening's one-shot. Now, we've just left off. The players have gotten into a lot of interesting situations, more than I anticipated them to do, and they have just finished up with the tavern. They've been hired by Tristan Harpel to go and investigate the little village of Silverleaf. Now, you guys have all retired for the evening. Shaz, you've spent the night out in the stables because the innkeep doesn't want you anywhere inside. And you get up the following morning, and as you head downstairs, you see that Carter, the little mechanical owl, is already sat waiting for you on the bar, looking very... It's difficult to say that he looks agitated, but he certainly looks quite keen to get going.
Okay.
Splendid, splendid, you're all here, wonderful.
Sorry,
Shall we
before-
be off?
Sorry, I thought somebody was going to interject there, so I was keeping quiet. But sorry, just as Shaz actually comes out of the stable, he's going to be like stretching, like, and bits of hay sticking out of his clothes. And they just be like, and they just like coughs, and I'd like to use the breath weapon on
Okay.
the near vicinity.
All right, sure, go for it. Burn down the stable.
It'll be cold.
It's ice, right?
Okay.
Black dragon, so it's ice.
All right, that's better, I guess. Kind of.
It's all about the visuals. It's going to look pretty.
So how does it look when you do this?
So he coughs, and it's like, icy phlegm just sort of bursts out in a great big spray as he has this coughing fit, so it's like he's basically hacking phlegm out of his throat.
Okay, there's a good portion of hay around you, and it all freezes up. You will also see one or two barrels with what appear to be apples inside, and they all just freeze almost immediately as a result of this. There's no horses actually in the stable, so you've at least avoided causing an issue there. But yeah, you've successfully frozen some stacks of hay and fruit.
Did anybody else see this?
I would imagine not, because they've actually had rooms in the inn. You will see one or two early morning villagers might possibly have.
Sorry, I'm going to dial it back here because I didn't make this clear. He's doing it when everybody's gathered around. But he's going to be the last one to join. So he's going to come out of the stable and do that.
So you're out of the stable. Okay, so you've entered the inn?
Yeah, I'm basically where everybody is, yeah.
Okay, right, you're on the main floor of the inn. Okay. Yes, you all see...
More criminal damage, that's what I was going for.
You all see a very dishevelled looking Shaz, which isn't difficult because that's his normal state of affairs. But he's got hay blasted all over the place. He's obviously had a rough night's sleep, and he comes in hacking and spluttering. And almost as soon as he opens the doors, there's a great big... and this blast of cold air comes sailing out. It knocks two of the chairs flying, and they immediately freeze over. And one of the tables just gets this glossy sheen of ice over it.
I love it. It's like Dragonborn. Proper.
Yeah, pretty much.
Skyrim. It's a Fusro Dar that freezes shit.
Is the bartender just like pulling his hair out at this point?
The bartender is luckily in the back room at the moment. You've got a little bit of time before he comes back in.
He's just gonna carry on scratching himself and between his legs as he wanders up to everybody. Just completely, that's just normal. That's just what happens every morning.
Gwen will raise an eyebrow, and I'll actually hold a if I can hold an action. If I see the bartender come out and like freak out, she'll just tell him, "Well, ice is expensive this time of year. Perhaps you'll find a use for this one yet."
Fair enough. It does take a few minutes. It's a little while yet. How long does the ice last? Does it have a set thing in it? I can't remember the breath weapons or not. I don't think it does. Does it?
Let's see. 2d6 damage on a failed save. Half as much on
Those
a
chairs make their decks save.
Yeah. So is that what you want to know? How much damage it did?
No, I was just wondering if there was any sort of duration to any of its effects or anything like that. I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, it's
Save.
no, it's not like a spell or anything. It's a damage attack that I'm just. sort of
Okay,
using.
tell you what we're going to do. We're going to contest. Ah, shit. Okay. The
Is
ice
that
is
like a
very much.
dragon?
Sorry?
Is that like a Dragonborn greeting?
Chaz?
Sorry, she's. Oh, sorry, I thought she was just
No.
asking general. Okay.
I'm asking it
It
out
says,
loud.
like, yeah, sure, it's a greeting. It's a greeting for, hey, hello, get me some breakfast.
Okay then, good morning to you too, I say, and stamp on the floor with one foot with thaumaturgy. I make it tremble a little bit.
Is he back in here again? Yeah, this voice from the back
Godwin,
room.
I'll have you know, your your stable floor was completely unsuitable for my neck. I'm adding this to my tab.
I've got something more suitable for your neck. And he comes out brandishing a very meaty hand. And as his eyes alight on this table and pair of chairs that are frozen and covered in sheet ice, his eyes bulge a little bit. Is that you?
No, I
And then
mean,
Gwen will say it.
You were saying good morning.
Remind me what Gwen said, sorry. Ice is
Oh,
expensive.
she'll say that ice is really expensive this time of year. Perhaps you'll find a use for this one.
for the first
I
time.
couldn't do anything with that ice, it's probably contaminated. Put that in a drink, I'll kill a man if it comes from him.
Maybe put it in a bucket and then just a bottle of wine in there so it doesn't really touch the fluid.
He's already actually gone to go and get a mop and bucket, and he's going to start trying to get some friction into this to heat the ice up and get it melted, so he's starting to work on that. Any more
Just
from
so
you?
Just so you know, I will be sending you a letter with expectations of my compensation. I've only got one neck.
More's the pity, I'd like to ring it twice.
I love this interaction. I'm sorry, I'm crying laughing over here in mute.
That's fine. As long as you enjoyed it, mate, that's all good. In the meantime, Carter is sat on the bar. Again, sort of hopping around, looking quite keen to get going. It's looking between each one of you. It's obviously very, very eager, very excitable this morning. Have you everything you need?
Shall we go?
No, I don't. I have not. I have needed my breakfast for about 3 hours now.
We'll eat on the road, my friend. And then she'll look at the bird and pat her warhammer that's hanging on the belt at her side. I have everything I need.
But you're the
It
cook,
swivels
right?
its head around 90 degrees to look at Cray.
Cray is descending down the stairs wearing a rather well-worn and what seems to be very battered padded leather armor. Her hair is picked up in a bun, and she, unlike last night, she is not wearing any makeup, and you can see what appears to be multiple metal studs around her eyebrows and along her jawline.
As you come down, Carter actually flaps up and comes to try and alight on your shoulder again, if you'll allow him.
I do.
And he settles in, same place as he was last night, and he shoots a bit of a look towards Shaz, and then rotates his head back to you, and you hear a soft voice in your ear. You will keep me away from him, won't you?
I will. Don't worry. And even if he sneezes in your general direction, And I look at the bird very cheekily and wink at it. It'll just give me a reason to act.
Splendid. I'm
So,
sure the
Gwen.
master will give you a bonus.
So, Gwen, did you say you cooked? I mean,
I've been known to.
there are three women here, but I don't know if you need to sort these things out in advance. Decide who gets this most obvious of duties.
I've been known to crack open a tasty ration or two.
Right? Does that mean you cook or you're gonna cook gross, vegetables and other vegan crap?
It means you'll fend for yourself if you keep insulting me.
Right, I think. Good to we can sort that out now. Might cause friction later on.
There's enough orcas
Oh,
outside
finally.
selling pastries. Get yourself one of them. You're not getting food from me.
No, but I will get a rather expensive bill for my neck from you.
I do know a rather good recipe of a nice meaty stew, but then I don't know how willing you will be to part with your balls for it.
You're assuming I have them.
Oh, I have trouble distinguishing the ladies of your kind. I apologize.
I thought he was a eunuch, Mrs. Carter.
So did I.
I think
Very
that must
embarrassing
be because
situation.
he's some form of lizard and they don't have mammary glands. I say, nodding wisely.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
He's just smiling at you. He does not get whatever insult is being implied.
Gwen is just waiting patiently, smiling, watching the little metal bird get more and more impatient, probably.
Well, the bird is actually, as you watch, it's actually beginning to move, and the chest cavity, the whole centre of its torso, splits in two. It comes out a little bit and then splits apart into almost like a pair of chest doors. In
Chaz,
essence.
did you break him yesterday?
And as you watch, a bunch of mechanical, really tiny mechanical arms with almost needle-like, not needle-like, tweezer-like appendages come out, and there's four of them. And as they come out, the bottom two and the top two hold out a little sheet of paper. Now, given the size of the bird and the sheet of paper, it's extremely difficult to make out any details to what's on there. But it begins to start. It's clear it's looking, and it starts moving certain things around, and it looks very intent on whatever it's doing.
Sorry.
I don't want to know.
Oh,
No, you don't.
come on, Anne. Own up to it.
Oh, what I said was, when you started talking, I was so afraid that Carter was splitting his chest into boobs.
No, lizards aren't the only one that don't have mammary glands. Mechanical constructs don't either.
Is this a first for a D&D stream? I think it must be.
With you lot, God knows.
Oh, God. Well, I think we'll be popular in Japan.
Number one D&D stream in Japan.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's funny because it's so likely.
Oh,
All right.
Your
let's
favorite
get back on
character.
track.
Yes.
I
So
tried
yeah,
to see
Carter's
what's
there
on that
examining
paper.
this sheet of paper, whatever it is.
God damn it, guys, we're a harem anime.
And again, occasionally his head kind of comes up. It's obviously on hinges, and it keeps looking towards the door and glancing around to make sure you're all ready to go.
I'm heading towards
Gwen
the
is
door.
ready.
All right. And as you start to head out, it gets one last look at the map. Right, I remember where it is. And it folds back up. The door slams shut. Shall we be off?
Mhm.
And it launches its way out the doors, and it takes a steady flight ahead of you, so you can quite clearly see where he is, and it has a strange capacity to hover when you guys slow down. But yeah, it begins to lead you out and away from the village, and off into the east, where the hills and the wild woods await you. and it takes a few days of travel to get down to where you're heading. And Carter explains as you're going that Silverleaf is not the kind of place you can find unless you know where it is. Apparently, it is warded by strong magic, and unless you've been before or have been specifically directed to it, you aren't going to stumble across it.
Interesting.
Oh, that sounds intriguing. Apropos magic, I have the Mask of Many Faces and the Armor of Shadow going.
Okay.
Just a heads up.
So you get a few nice camping places. Carter clearly knows the local land. He's got you settled up overnight in a few places with some really, really nice views. Excuse me. And on the third day, you crest a tall hill, and you spot the village lying in a little valley below you. There's a score, maybe 12, a dozen or so houses down there, and they're all nestled within, and even from a distance you can see behind them is a shimmering gleam of this orchard, Silverleaf, where you've been directed to.
Can I roll on Arcana to see if I notice any kind of magic guarding the village, like Carter said?
Sure, go for it.
That is 21.
Okay, yeah, there is definitely some magic at play here, but it seems to be emanating from the orchard more than anything.
Okay.
Bear with me a second. Yeah, there's transmutation magic in there, it would seem.
Do I have any knowledge why someone would place transmutation magic on an apple orchard? Is it too...
You don't know. You've got somebody in the party that might.
I ask Gwen, say, why would you put transmutation magic on an apple orchard?
Oh, it's not
She'll
an apple
examine it.
orchard.
It's what?
It's not an apple orchard, not at all. Oh, no.
What is it then?
Why, it's a silver mine, in essence.
Are we there yet?
You see,
Are you growing
Silverleaf...
silver apples?
No. It's the leaves. The clue's in the name. It's Silverleaf, you see. The trees actually grow leaves of pure silver.
Ah.
May have been a mistake to
Are we
show this
there
one
yet?
where the town is, and no point to the.
Are we there yet?
No, we're not there
Are we there
yet.
yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are
You
we
can
there
see
yet?
it there!
If you do not stop, I will cast Hold Person on you and make you stand in the same spot for another 3 days.
Well, that might be preferable. It'll give my feet a rest. Oh, what? Right here?
I think now I understand why your master bought this village.
Oh, yes, it's a prestigious, very prestigious place for a wizard to hold. Most definitely. He's been after it for quite some time, but Miss Doomstaff didn't seem to want to sell it for a long period. But he's managed to get it now. It's not a particularly... Sorry, go on.
Carter, lovely. I have just one question. What is wrong with the village that a possession so valuable was finally sold just recently after years of no negotiating?
Oh, there was much negotiating when she finally did agree to sell it, don't get me wrong. But if I'm honest, it's not the value of the place. I mean, it pulls out about the same as you would expect from a normal silver mine. Maybe a little less. But it's more the prestigious nature, I think, that attracts the master's attention. Having such a place directed to you, it's something to brag about at the local wizard's ball, you know?
You say his name was Doomstaff?
No, her name, Freya Doomstaff. She was the one who owned the place before signing it over to Master Harple.
And something's amiss now.
I wouldn't say that anything's amiss.
Then why are we here?
Well, we came here to make sure that nothing's amiss. But why would it be?
Because you left the whole place with somebody called Doomstaff. That's the most sinister name I've ever heard.
Well, the Master didn't think so. He trusts...
Doomstaff! It's what dark gods destroy worlds with.
Well, I can't speak for the Master's decisions. I mean, him and Miss Doomstaff have a history after all. He obviously trusts her.
Stop saying it. It's so evil. It feels like uttering it will summon some curse on us.
We
Okay.
say doom stuff?
Yes, Freya Doomstaff. She was the maid who owned the property. She's quite a reputable wizard herself, you know.
Does that name ring a bell?
Maybe if you're a local, it might do.
Okay, so I can't roll on history or something to see if I have read any book about her kind of magic.
You can give it a go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does
sure.
my
Arcana or history?
Does my
Either
bardic
one, I
knowledge
think. Either
provide-
one.
Sam,
Sorry.
does my bardic knowledge provide anything on Miss Doomstaff?
Does your bard what? Sorry.
Bardic knowledge.
What does bardic knowledge do? Sorry. Is there anything specific? Excuse me, specific?
Not anymore. Not anymore. They changed it.
They changed it. Oh,
Yeah, there
God,
is no bardic knowledge anymore. You just have history and stuff like all us other mortals. I had a 23 on history arcana. Which one you like better? It's the same stats.
Okay, I would say that you have heard of Freya Doomstaff. She's known locally, significantly. She's one of the most prestigious wizards around there. Second, probably only to the Harple family, who are quite well established in Longsell and have been for some time. She's known to be a experimental wizard. She's known to be quite mischievous, shall we put it that way. But that's as much as you can generally tell about the rumours that you've heard around Longsaddle and the other villages who've headed in this general direction.
I hold my books in my arm and I say, I have heard of that name. Haven't heard that name before, and I recite everything you just said.
Oh, quite right, quite right.
I had a 23 as well, so I'll say I think I lent you the book that she was mentioned in.
Oh yeah, that's quite possible. I think it's one of. No, I did not take it with me. It was not important for the journey, but yes, you are right.
Okay, as
And
you
I'll
guys... Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and just because someone's ornery doesn't mean that they're evil. And I wink at Shaz.
Okay, as you guys
Like
get closer to the
like I'm
village,
hinting.
you notice that it seems to be very pleasant. It's got very pretty, well-kept cottages and beautiful, if a little bit unkempt, gardens. Can you guys tell me what your passive perceptions are, please?
16.
13.
10.
Wisdom.
Right. Sorry, what were we rolling?
Passive. I just want to know your passive perception.
Passage was 13.
Okay, everybody except Siri notices that the village appears unoccupied at the moment. There is nothing moving in there.
I take out
Where
my
is it?
crossbow. I dislike this a lot.
Carter's mechanical feathers ruffle a little bit. What have you seen? What is it? What? Where?
It's more what
Nothing.
we haven't
Its head
seen.
begins doing 360 turns constantly.
It's a village. There should be people. At least smoke coming out of the chimney. And
I
yet
look-
there is only silence.
I look up from the book I'm reading. Huh? What?
I suppose you're right. I don't think many people tend to light fires in the height of spring, but yes, it does seem rather odd that there's no one there.
So Shaz is, if he's still fluttering around in panic, Shaz is actually going to see if he can catch him.
No, he's still on. He's still on Cray's shoulder.
Is he?
Yeah, his feathers are ruffled, and he's doing his scans in essence. But yeah,
You touch me, you die.
And that's why you be quiet and calm down, Buttstain. Because this is now a search and destroy mission.
heavens no! The Harpers want the town. They want the. You can't destroy the trees.
Oh my god.
He's going to start actually making forward, and he's going to actually remove from his belt a big, heavy-looking crossbow.
Like as he's walking away, Gwen will like grab the collar of his shirt like a mom, just like with her two fingers, and be like, "Where do you think you're going?"
Careful my neck!
I won't hurt your neck, but you will not hurt these trees.
I can assure you, if any harm comes to those trees, the Harples will most definitely not take kindly to it. And you do not want to anger the Harples.
while they are arguing, I start casting a ritual from my spell book.
Mhm.
It takes me 10 minutes while they are standing there,
Yep.
holding each other's neck and stuff like that. I will cast Detect Magic on myself to see if this is some form of illusion, keeping the
Okay, what's the
hidden.
radius of Detect Magic?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think it will hold for 10 minutes, and the radius is 30 feet.
Okay, you don't detect any magic at all coming from the village.
How curious. Can I detect magic from the others? I will hold concentration for the next 10 minutes to see.
If the others have magical items or any particular spells going, you'll have to tell them. I don't know.
Carter is magic, right?
Carter, yes, Carter does have some sort of, I think probably transmutation magic would probably be the best for him.
Okay.
I'm guessing. But yeah, there's magic emanating from him, definitely.
There's magic emanating from Cray's hair bun.
Ah, okay. I don't sense any illusion magic, so let's go farther into the village to see what's going on here. Can I see the trees from here?
Oh yeah, you can definitely see the trees. They're not that far from the village itself. Maybe, I don't know, a couple 100 feet.
Their magic is still going strong, right?
Your radius doesn't detect it, but there's no reason to suspect otherwise. If you try to get closer, not an issue. As you get within sight range of it, behind some of the houses, you can see that there's a low stone wall that surrounds the whole place, and an iron gate lying in the middle of the pathway, just clearly separating the orchard from the rest of the
The gate
village.
is lying on the path.
Sorry?
The gate has been broken out and is lying on
No,
the
it's
path,
stood.
or-
It's stood.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, everything looks fine.
Except that
The
there are no people.
the only real discrepancy is that there's no movement in the village, and that the gardens look a little bit untidy.
What do you make of this, Gwen?
I don't like it. There's no one here, and we know that people were sent. And then she'll touch her chest and say a small prayer while pulling a small piece of parchment out of her pack. And she'll hold it up as she's praying, and it'll disintegrate. And this shimmering field forms around her for just a moment and then is invisible. So I'm casting Shield of Faith, which gives me a +2 bonus to AC for the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
I suggest that we proceed with caution.
I agree.
I suggest before we venture into the gardens that we shall inspect at least one house. If we open a house and there are dead bodies inside, we will have a clearer understanding of what happened here.
That is the most likely place they would be, out of sight.
Shaz is actually tugging on his collar now, his legs marching out forward from under him, and he's basically just saying, "No, I desire to make some villains feel the wrath of my cold hand of justice."
Your hand will not feel anything aside from what is deep inside your body right now. So please, do not make any rash decisions before I have to kill you.
Realize how unprofessional this all looks?
Do you realize how you have been unprofessional this entire trip?
I can't help it. I never got the kind of education that you had.
Education? It is overrated.
Right,
All
I
one
know.
needs all one needs is the proper manners, my dragonborn friend.
Oh
I
yeah?
can lend you the book.
Book I do not need to read, because I don't know
Okay.
how.
I can teach you. It's not that hard.
I'm not saying it's hard, I'm saying it's dorky.
Okay, as you
Which
guys
is
get into the
completely at
village,
odds with our whole...
Only
village,
losers read.
you will see that some of the houses near you, the doors are open, ajar. You can't quite see what's inside without getting closer, but you can see that they definitely don't appear to be locked.
I grab a handful of the Dragonborn's cloak, and hold him in front of me and just slowly push towards one of the houses. You're coming with me.
Well, I don't usually acquiesce to those sorts of propositions under duress in this kind of situation. But I think I can make an exception.
Yes, who are you kidding?
As you get
Friends,
close,
why don't I go first? Sorry, friends, why don't I go first?
Please be careful.
I'll stay a
And
few feet ahead of those two and make my way towards the building they were making their way towards.
as she
We'll shield
passes
up.
by, I look scandalized that she doesn't appreciate my meat shield that I've been holding for everyone else.
He's still actually kind of treating this all as some official team move. He's got his crossbow waving about in front of him, and he's still totally aware.
okay. Is anybody attempting to stealth? I didn't think so. I just wanted to
No.
clarify. Okay.
If you let us say yes now, you'd be way lenient. So
Yeah.
By the way, I traced
shield up,
this
weapon out though.
I trace an arcane glyph into the air and shield myself with a blade ward.
All right.
Just to
As
be
you get to the house,
Villain.
whoever's in front, whether it's Gwen or whether it's Shaz, unwillingly or willingly, whichever
I
the case
think
may be.
Shaz is officially towards the front. He's
All right,
literally-
Shaz, as your snout pokes,
Meet my wrath!
as your
Let
snout
out
pokes
war
through
cry.
the door and it swings open, you are greeted by the sight of a perfectly normal house. There's nothing inside that would suggest that there's any thing to worry about. It's well furnished for farmers, in essence, or orchard tenders, as this is probably the case. Everything looks pretty much understood. It looks lived in, but it's tidy enough. Anybody who has a perception over 15, a passive perception, will notice a faint scent of rot lingering in the air.
Gwen
is
will
that
actually
food?
hold up her hand and say, "Stop."
Is there food?
What is it?
There's no food immediately on display. You can roll me a perception check if you would like to.
Yeah, just.
We will do so. 24.
God damn it. That's an
Perception.
18 perception.
Net
Apparently
20.
is very
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
There we go. Nice one.
Nice.
I have a 4.
hungry boy.
If anybody in the chat knows the commands and wants to add 10 XP to the viewers, please do so. I don't know how to do it myself, or I would. I don't think I have the permission either. Yeah, so as you guys get in there, anybody with a score over 10, it's a very easy check, will notice that this smell of rot is identical to that of mouldy fruit and food. And as you go in and start looking through some of the cupboards and the pantries, you find that it is indeed spoiled food that is the source of this cloying scent.
Friends, gather all this food and let's put it in the middle of the table here. We can come back for it later. I have an idea.
I'm not touching that.
First sensible thing you've said.
She'll start gathering stuff, not getting messy, but she'll just put some stuff aside. But you said you were hungry earlier, and then she'll cast Purify Food and Drink.
That's disgusting. I'm not a
Okay.
dwarf.
How does Purify Food and Drink work?
It renders it free of poison and disease, so if it's rotten, it'd probably make it not rotten.
Okay. I wouldn't imagine it's going to restore it to its normal state.
Since I did not understand the spell out of character, can I just redact that?
I'm just trying to think how it would work. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I would assume
I
it'd get
think
rid
you're
of them
right.
all, but if there's any like bits missing, I would presume they'd stay. It'd
And
just
it
be
wouldn't
fresh.
It'd
certainly be
freshen
edible.
it, would it?
I'm looking for any type of cheese or salted meats in the house.
Yeah, you'll find some.
So has Chaz picked up food now that's been purified?
If Gwen's definitely going ahead with that, then yeah, sure. There's a pile
I'll
of
do
food.
that, and I'll just say it's more practical than breaking into our rations.
Okay, so there's a pile of food on the table that looks. It's got a few nicks and bruises in it here and there, but it looks perfectly edible. No problem.
Shaz is gonna just kind of approach it and pick up a piece of fruit and toss it in his hands. He's just like, oh, like anybody wants to eat recycled old moldy food, and he's just gonna smash it off the table.
She smiles.
Like,
and
give me
says,
some roast beef and some.
And the
Pork
apple goes
skin.
sailing across the room, which splats against the wall, and it actually hits a picture that's hanging up there. And there's a small shattering of glass, and this portrait lands on the floor.
"But you asked if I could cook," and she'll wink at him. And then after she grabs a quick snack, she'll continue looking around.
Okay, you don't find anything else out of the ordinary. Gray, you do manage to find some cheese. There's not a lot of meat. It's generally something that's a bit on the expensive side for people of this income. But yeah, you find a few pieces of cheese. You've got purified food. That's pretty much all you can find in there. There's no evidence of any people having been through here for some time.
I leave the meat in case the people return and want to celebrate not being dead, and I take the cheese.
Okay.
Did you have any idea the party was going to just totally chow down on that food when you're planning this?
I
That
think
is
the
far
entire
from the
reason
most
she do
unpredictable
this
thing
is
you've
to.
Sorry, Gwen, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I think the entire reason she'd do that is to just fuck with Shaz a little bit because he was
Nice.
asking her if she could cook. That'll be my reasoning for it.
Okay.
After the first few minutes of looking at them gathering food and doing all that stuff that I just described, Cherry's getting quite bored and she's sitting at the doorstep and with her spellbook open and she's casting augury, which is a form of ritual that will give you an omen. It just says if something bad happens or something good happens or something that is either both or not really one of them.
You get a bad omen.
Hmm.
Is it any more specific than that, or
No, it's not.
okay?
It's
You do get a bad omen.
I have a bad feeling about this. The rune stones that fall on a side that tells me that something really bad is going to happen.
Oh, Gwen looks at it and says, "You rolled woe.
Yeah,
This is not good."
I know. That's very bad. Maybe we should leave.
We should be more careful for certain. Perhaps we will leave if it gets too dangerous.
You can't do that. The Harples have hired you.
They have hired us to get here and check it out, and all the people are missing, so that's bad.
Yes, but the orchard needs investigating as well. We must make sure
Yeah,
that
then
the
let's
trees
go
are
and
fine.
look at the orchard.
Say again?
Then let's go and look at the orchard.
Wait. Wasn't our agreement to just check this place? I don't remember any talk about any orchard.
The
Silverleaf.
village is with the orchard.
Indeed, it is part of the parcel of land that Master Tristan has purchased.
I think that we've already investigated this area. We should get another 200 gold for investigating the next area.
Absolutely not.
It's taking us for a ride.
I'm recasting as a ritual detect magic on myself and prepare to go for the orchard.
Okay. Anybody else
I
head
would
in that
actually
direction?
like to.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
I'd like to actually hold my finger out and see if Carter will fly over to me, and I say, "Let's chat for a second."
Certainly. And it hops off Gray's shoulder and onto your finger. What would you like to
Okay.
discuss? I will endeavour to provide the
you
most
know-
assistance possible.
If you know anything about birds, they will latch around your finger with their claws, and then to hold them in place, you simply put your thumb over top of their feet, and that's what I'd like to do,
Okay.
so that he cannot move. And I would like to cast Zone of Truth on an area around me And I'm going to
Okay.
ask him, do you know a little more than you're letting on, my friend? And
Only
he's
what?
required to tell the truth if... I think if he fails a wisdom throw. Let me see. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. It's a 15-foot radius. He has to make a charisma saving throw against, I think, my spell DC, which is
Oops. Oh, wait.
16.
Okay. He fails a saving throw. But yeah, he looks. He's just no. Of course not. I mean, I'm here to offer as much assistance as possible. Master Harple wants you to succeed, of course.
But there's no dangers that you're aware of here that maybe you weren't telling us about, so that we would be a little more willing to
None
come.
that I'm aware of. I mean, Master Harple, to be perfectly honest, is a little bit suspicious that Miss Doomstaff has tricked him somehow. But he's not aware of any nefarious purposes, and quite frankly, Miss Doomstaff isn't the type of person. She could be a bit impish, perhaps.
Even with the most evil name in the world?
I'm beginning to think you are a racist, sir.
It's obvious!
I think the most evil name in the world should be Asmodeus or something like that.
No, he's
He's a lord of
below
He's a lord of the
Asmodeus.
9 hells, so he should be the evilest. The evilest name. The evilest name. Evilest? Is
This
that the
isn't
right
just
word,
speculation.
Gwen?
This is fact, grounded in science.
I happen to have met Miss Doomstaff on a number of social occasions, and I can assure you that her name means very little in the grand scheme of things. She's quite a pleasant person.
Let us abstain from her name for just a moment. So we have a situation where there is a rather prestigious village called Silverleaf that belongs to a noblewoman of slightly impish nature, and suddenly she gives in, decides to sell this prestigious village to another person. Wouldn't you suspect that something is not right with this prestigious village if it's being sold,
Well, I wouldn't.
even if she puts so?
I wouldn't, because, quite frankly, I'm not capable of conscious thought in that manner. I'm not designed for it. However, Master Harple, yes. He's clearly a little bit suspicious about what's going on, which is why he sent Master Dunhill here. But obviously he hasn't returned, so now we're sending you.
Forgive
So
my
the-
impropriety, Bird, and I'll take the zone of truth away. I just had to make sure that we could completely trust you, and I'll let him free.
Oh, well, of course, I suppose. And it looks a bit nonplussed, to be perfectly honest, and it flies back across the crate.
I have prepared the spell. I'm ready to go. If you are. Let's go look at the orchard.
I rub the bird's belly on instinct because of the past, and I whisper to him as I follow everyone else. If something happens, if a fight ensues, can I suspect that you may take off to warn your master that we may need some assistance?
Well, I'm afraid not, really. I mean, Master Harple is quite some distance from here. It would take a few days, near enough a week, if I'm perfectly honest, to get back to him. And, well, if you do find yourselves in that much trouble, I don't think a week is going to be quite enough time to help you out, I'm afraid. But you look quite capable. I mean, Master Harple wouldn't have hired you if you didn't have a certain quality.
Then you would know that a week is nothing.
Well, it's nothing to me. I mean, I'm a construct, but it's a different matter for you sentient beings, I believe.
Well, it depends on the being, and I quiet for a time.
Okay. So as you guys start to get closer to the orchard, you can see that it's entirely ringed by this circular wall, and it's about 60 feet across. And in front of you, you've got the iron gate, and you can see a little bit further beyond it, in the middle of the path leading into the orchard, there's about 12 trees or so. And in the middle of the path, you can see a wide-brimmed straw hat that's been discarded, with a couple of pink ribbons. And off to the left is a weather-beaten picnic basket made of wicker. And up ahead of you, somewhere in the trees, you can hear birds cawing, ravens cawing to themselves. But otherwise, there's no real stirring of life in there.
Do I see magic?
You do sense the transmutation magic, the same kind of thing you detected coming from the trees themselves. So whatever spell perhaps created these in the first place still seems to be in effect. But that's the only thing present that you can detect other than the usual bits.
There is no magic lingering in the area around the picnic basket and the straw hat?
No.
Well, the magic on the...
What you can see...
We're going.
I'm trying to think how far it'll be. He's 30 feet, right?
30 feet, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I walked up to the biscuit basket. No, to the picnic basket.
Okay. In the very middle of the orchard, you can see a small table. It's white marble, and it's a fair distance, so it's about 30 feet, halfway in. But what you can see from the center of it, and you get a very faint, very small hint of magic from it, and you can see a small fountain of sparks spiraling from this tabletop. And it seems to be a little bit of a constant thing.
I walk over there to try to look at the sparkly table.
Okay. So you guys enter the orchard as a group, I presume?
I will.
I'm following
Something is
along, kind of just
sparkling.
keeping an eye out.
Look, Gwen.
In the mention of sparkles, I tense up but follow.
Can we see what is sparkling from here?
Excuse me, I've lost the page somewhere. Where is it? Okay, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just asking if we can see what is sparkling from here. Or is it just...
It's difficult to make it out. It is very small, whatever it is. But as you step through the iron gate, you feel a very strange sensation, a very tight sensation between you all. And the world begins to spin for all of you. And after a second or two, you black out.
Ooh.
Now, as time passes, you do eventually regain consciousness with no apparent ill effects. You don't know exactly how much time it is. But rather than lying on the gravel path that you were standing upon a moment ago, you find yourself lying on what seems to be a wide field of small boulders, each about 1 or 2 feet wide. Green walls of thick foliage rise up to your left and right, while a strange dome-like structure lies a few hundred feet before you. In the distance, you can see impossibly huge trees looming up to the sky, topped with silver leaves. A cold sensation runs through your bones as you glance over your shoulders to see that the gate you just walked through is now the height of a castle tower and hangs on a wall that would put any fortress to shame. A second or two pass before the realization sinks in for you all, and you realize that you have shrunk significantly. You're approximately 1/60th of your normal size, so on a scale, you're about... Anybody who was about 5 foot is now standing about an inch tall.
What if I'm 6'4"?
Then you're a little bit over an inch.
So, Chaz is just going to notice this, and he's going to be like, "Whoa! Whoa! Was everything this big before, or is it just me?"
I don't know, but I just hope we didn't step on our missing friend on the way here now.
The who's a what?
That is horrifying.
Oh, heavens, no! And you notice that Carter has actually shrunk down in size with you as well, as has the tortoise that was accompanying you. As a matter of fact, everything you own, your familiars, etc., have all shrunk down to the same scale.
Chaz is actually, on hearing that, he's going to actually angrily approach Carter. He's going to just say, "This wasn't part of the contract, asshole!"
I didn't know about it! I didn't know!
So it seems that Miss Doomstuff has decided to play a prank upon anyone who tries to actually own the place.
Oh, really?
Hey,
The
don't
villain
know
with
that
the
she
creepy
was
name?
dead.
It could be a defense mechanism as well. Security.
If
A
it is,
brilliant
it's
one.
certainly not something that she discussed in the terms of the contract for the signing over of the deed with Master Harple. I think you would have been quite intrigued to know.
Yeah, we shouldn't accuse anyone before we not know who is responsible for this. Shall we try to find the townsfolk? If they're all our size now?
Gwen is nodding and she's thinking to herself. She's just kind of talking out loud. She says, "Yes, it's a good idea, but now distance is a problem. It would take us perhaps a day to get back to the house at this size."
Oh, yeah.
Well, as you look around, the path that you were on,
Oh, wait a second.
which was a very basic trail, a couple of feet wide, is now, in terms of your scale, it's about 120 foot wide. And these little pebbles that made it up are what basically look like large boulders to you now. The hat that you saw as you entered is approximately 150 feet ahead of you. And it's massively scaled up, obviously.
Shaz is continuing with, "See, and I expect to be carried for at least 6 hours of said day."
Who's he chatting to? Carter still?
Gwen.
Oh, okay.
This is in his response to what Gwen said.
How long have you been unconscious?
You're not 100% sure. I mean, you can make a perception check for me if you like.
Is my spell still going? The one that only lasts 1 hour?
No.
Oh, yeah. My perception was 7.
Okay. You don't know how much time has passed. Yeah, from your current angle, you can't work it out. You know your spell's faded, so it's over an hour, but that's as much as you can tell.
I
I look
quickly recast it
Okay.
when I noticed.
I look at the Dragonborn and I rub my chin. Didn't you use a spell to both reduce and enlarge yourself?
What? No?
I'm quite sure you did. You were 3 feet away from my face.
That glass just expanded by the force of my own awesomeness.
Can you cast a similar spell on us right now?
I don't know. What's she talking about? He just looks at the others with a grin on his face.
While they're doing this, can I make a perception check to see if I see the Solinsky or Thompson children anywhere?
The Witch and
Honey,
the
I
what?
Shrunk the Kids reference.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, darling, I shrank our kids or something.
You have
Oh.
kids?
No, go on. I'm just being ornery.
If you're married, I'm gonna stop the flirting. Jeez. I'm no homebreaker.
But no, for real, Gwen will just wait and see if there is a chance that maybe Shaz knows this spell.
He's again just what's everybody looking at?
I've already used Zone of Truth once today. Please just tell us.
Yeah, this is a
Okay,
private
so
fun.
we're all not just small, but we're a little crazy too.
I take out my crossbow and aim it at the Dragonborn and say, "We may have shrunk, but this dart is still big enough to pierce your heart."
He just looks. He said, "Which side? Because I'd like to survive if possible, so I can understand what it is the frick you're talking about."
You use the spell to enlarge a cup. Can you use it on people?
You keep saying I cast a spell. He cast a spell. I can't cast spells.
Did you make a small?
I know.
Oh,
The glass just got big in my hand on its own.
Yeah, and did we just get small because we walked beside you?
I don't
You
know.
know-
It just does. These things happen.
I've heard of this happening,
It
actually.
makes people when it rains. Or when
Anybody
the sun
who-
rises.
Anybody who wants to can make an insight check against Shaz.
Yes.
Yeah, I will do that for sure.
I'm so doing that. I need.
I rolled
Provided
a
that
1.
Shaz doesn't object to that.
No.
That's a net
Didn't
1.
think you would.
I rolled a 19, but I think I believe him anyway.
19.
Oh,
Okay.
he's totally innocent. I'm convinced of that.
Telling the truth. Not hiding anything.
No.
Yeah. I've actually heard of some sorcerers who cannot always control their powers. Maybe this is what we witnessed.
Well, that's really great that you know that, but it's not really relevant to the current situation.
Yes,
from-
because he casts the spell willingly.
From
Because I'm
what,
not
I,
a sorcerer, dumbass.
from what I saw so far, he can't even really control himself. So it's no wonder that he can't control his magic.
Can I trigger my previous wild magic roll, please?
No, it only works when you're casting a spell.
Ah, right. Okay, so you have to do it at the same time.
Yeah, because it basically works as you're drawing on the weave and the energy, and when that happens, it can go wrong.
I see.
So unless you're actively trying to pull energy from it, it's not something that you can just turn on and off.
Damn it! I wish I'd.
It rules you as much as you rule it.
Okay. Damn it! So it would have been.
Yeah, sorry, but no. If you want to cast a spell, you might. But
Okay. No, that's absolutely fine.
No
Okay.
matter. I trust what you're saying.
Yeah, he's just like he seems completely genuine.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm frustrated and I'm gonna lose a dart in his general direction, but about 2 feet over his head.
okay. So this bolt just comes whoosh, straight over your head, Shaz, and disappears off into the very, very tall grass behind you.
Do you have any idea how dangerous that is?
Yes.
Whoa. Well,
No need for zone of truth with that one.
you understand I would still have to charge you for my pants?
Can your
Didn't wear the
magic
brown ones.
can your magic break the spell? When?
Let me try. I will actually begin the incantation to cast Lesser Restoration on Sairi and see if it works. I don't know that it will, but
You're casting lesser restoration to try and dispel the shrinking effect, yeah?
yes, because it can remove a status effect, or I think
Yeah, it can.
Okay. The spell
it
has
remo-
no effect.
Huh.
I'm afraid this might be a little outside of my power to do.
Well, when we came in here, I saw this glittering on that table. Maybe we should investigate that because that might be the closest thing from us, and it was something that is magical in this orchard. And on just basic logic, this orchard has always been covered with transmutation magic. So the magic on the trees should not be sufficient to transform us. So let's look at that table.
I agree with your assessment.
Wonderful.
I say nothing
can we
because
keep
I'm
up?
not a spellcaster.
I have been reading the book about logical reasoning as well.
Good. I'm glad you found it illuminating. And then can we see over the grass, or is it too tall to see the table?
No, it's too tall to see over.
I have one idea.
You do know that
And
the
I
path
also-
you do know that the path that you're on does lead to the table. You saw that quite clearly from when you were your normal size.
Okay.
But you
So
can't
I wouldn't
see.
need to cast locate.
No, but you can't see quite where the path leads.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I was gonna have the idea of cast locate object, and locate the table. But if we just follow the path, that's fine.
Yeah, the path should lead you to it, no problem.
I just want to use my utility spell, Sam.
Trying to save your spell slot.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's just
So Gwen will put her shield up and her hammer forward and lead the way.
All right, you guys start heading further down the path. Obviously, there's the hat further ahead of you.
Mhm.
That's the only thing that you can currently see up ahead. As you draw closer to it, you can see there's a pink ribbon tied around the top of it, and you see a few discarded carcasses of beetles and insects and that sort of thing lying around it. And these are full-sized beetles and insects. So they are
So they
significantly
are-
bigger than you.
Oh.
And you said so
They
far
are
we can
very
see
much
carcasses.
They are
But
very much
they're
dead. That's very much evident, yes.
Shaz sort of chuckles nervously.
Okay, can I ask for passive perceptions from you all, please? Just remind
13?
me.
13.
16.
Okay. Gwen, you see movement from inside the hat.
Inside the hat?
Inside the hat. There is something lurking in there.
Does it give me a bad feeling? Like I should back away because it might be a fucking spider, which I'm terrified of?
What is it? What do you see?
Whatever it is, it's
What do your
dark.
woman eyes see?
It appears to be dark shadows, but it appears humanoid in form.
Everyone, hold! Do you see that? And I'll point it out and try to get the others to be aware of the shadowy shape.
No, I don't. That's
There's a
why I
kind
asked.
magic
What do you
pulsing
see?
around my fingers. What do we see?
As you point directly towards where this thing is, 4 bugbears burst out from under the hat, weapons in hand.
Oh, thank God it's not a spider. That's all I was
I need everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
gonna
I don't
shit
need you to roll
myself.
initiative
Then.
actually thinking about it because we've already done that. And you guys
Oh,
are ready
yeah.
to go.
I
So,
forgot the roll.
it's fine, I've got them all written down here. So,
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
we're going to start with Siri. You're top of the initiative order. You've seen an armed group of 4 bugbears come steaming out from this hat.
Well, for my bonus action, I'm going to place a hex on the first bugbear and the one nearest to me. And I think he can't resist that. It's just, you just do it, I think.
Okay,
Bear with me, it's my first hex.
no worries. Mine too.
And I'm going, it's a bonus action. As an action, I will cast Eldritch Blast. And I'm going to hit him with ranged spell attack. Yeah, I just place the curse on the creature. It lasts for
Okay,
an
how does
hour
it- how does the
and
curse work?
damage. I can choose. I will deal 1d6 extra necrotic damage if I damage that target with a spell or melee weapon attack.
Okay,
And I can choose to give that target disadvantage on a certain ability check, and I will give him disadvantage against for strength checks. So my attack roll is a 17. Does that hit the?
it does
bugbear?
indeed hit. How much damage do you do?
Then I'm going to do. Well, it's only. Oh, that's not bad. It's 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage. Alright.
Hmm.
This, the Eldritch Blast, I believe it was, is a green thing, if I remember rightly. Oh, you can
It's a
flavour it whatever
force
colour you're
blast.
doing.
Sorry, what?
You can flavour it to whatever colour you're going for.
I want it to be purple, bright purple color.
Alright, so this bright purple blast emanates from your hands. You just kind of have the Hadouken almost move. And it just sears forward. It hits the first bugbear straight in the face and almost staggers in mid-charge. As he sort of steps back a little bit in his position, you hear a shout from the other 3. Get him, boys! And anything else from your turn?
No, I had a bonus action and an action. I will fall back 30 as my
Okay,
full
they're about
range
30
of
feet away
movement.
from you now, just so you know.
Okay, I mean, I have the Eldritch Blast has quite a wide range, so I will fall 30 foot back.
Absolutely, that's fine. Shaz!
Shaz is going to scream slightly, and he's going to move in a rather shallow circle, so he ends up just 5 feet away from the bears, and he's just going to flail his arms, screaming, and just like, no, get away from me! I'm not even tasty. It's like chewing on a dragon's nutsack. And that'll be his turn.
Okay, Shaz panics. It's the bugbears next, as it turns out. So all 4 of them come steaming towards you. Gwen, I believe you were leading. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, we lost him.
You're on mute if you're talking, mate.
Sorry about that. I said yes. Come meet my hammer, fellas.
Alright, sweet. So, first bugbear, the one that's taken a decent chunk of seared fur to its front from this Eldritch Blast, goes to hit you with its club. And
Okay.
it goes to hit. Where are we? Does a 23 hit?
By 2 points with my shield, it hits, unfortunately. Yeah.
Alright. It does 11 points of damage to you
Ooh.
for this Morning Star. A second one comes up to assist. Does a 17 hits? No?
No, sir. I
So
would
the
like
second
to
one
deflect that
comes
with
up.
my shield.
I believe you got a shield, right?
Yes, sir.
So you take the hit from the second one, but you just about manage to get your shield raised up for the second to come crashing down on it, and you manage to successfully block. The other 2 go to move past you. They are, however, a bit limited in how far they can go. So they end up basically on your flanks, but a little bit further apart. You've got the 2 burly ones bang next to you. The other 2 are sort of 5 feet away on either side. And they're going to end their turn there. Okay. We're going to have Gwen next. How do you react? You've just taken a bit of a pounding.
Which was the one that hit me, the one that Tahina already damaged, or can I tell which one she shot with her bolt?
You can absolutely tell because there's a good patch of seared fur right where it's hit on its chest. It was not the one that hit you, it was the second one that I tried to.
All right. I'm going to take my Warhammer and bang it on my shield as I say an incantation and cast Toll of the Dead on that particular bugbear, which means 1d12 damage if he's already taken damage.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a 9.
Okay.
And then
give me the visual for it. How does Toll the Dead work? Give me a visual.
So I bang the hammer on the shield as I'm facing him, and I hold it out in front of me, and it resonates kind of like a tuning fork, and this wave just washes over him, and his fur and skin that we can see start to blacken as the necrotic damage washes over him.
Nice. So yeah, you see him stagger with this effect, and he almost drops to one knee, and you can see a lot of the fight's gone out of him. He actually looks really out of it. Not quite dizzy, but you can tell this has had a really heavy effect on him.
And I'll just glare at the others like they're next, and then that'll end my turn.
Okay, Cray.
So I'm gonna cast Hold Person upon the closest of the bugbears.
Okay, there's one close enough to you. Are you off to the left or the right of Gwen?
Left.
Alright, so leftmost bugbear. It's a little bit further from Gwen, so it's not quite going to hit him, but you can cast Hold Person on him, sure. Do I need to make a save for that?
The target must succeed on a Wisdom save or be paralyzed for duration of 1 minute.
Okay, what's the DC?
DC is my Wisdom, right?
It should be 8 plus your proficiency plus your Wisdom mod. Well, whatever your spellcasting modifier is, I think.
That's right.
So it's 16.
He fails and immediately seizes up with his Morning Star in one hand and almost looks to topple actually with his position on his footwork, but he basically just freezes completely in place.
Is using a cantrip a bonus action or a free action, or what is it?
A cantrip costs an action just like a spell does, unless
Oh,
it specifically states. No. Unless your spell, I believe, is a bonus action. If you've got a spell that takes a bonus action to cast, you can cast a cantrip with it.
No, it's one action.
Okay, so yeah, that would count as your action for the turn.
So this bugbear can try and shake off the whole person on its on each its.
Okay. Top of the round, Sherry.
I'm going to the one that I cast Eldritch Blast on is still standing, right?
Just barely. He's looking pretty beat up.
Yeah, I'm going to finish him off then. I will shoot another Eldritch Blast at him out of my hand. And I think that a 21 should hit, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So that's 5 points of force damage and 4 points of necrotic damage, so 10 points of damage.
Okay,
No,
this
9
guy's
points
been
of
hit
damage.
by 3 subsequent bursts of necrotic damage, and as the last one strikes him, you see him begin to just crumple. His skin peels away, his muscle structure just disintegrates, and eventually all that's left is this giant goblinoid skeleton, and it just crumples into a pile in front of you.
I will
Nice.
use
Hey,
my
Sam.
bonus action to. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just made a mistake earlier, and I wanted to own up to it. They have to make a wisdom saving throw on that Toll of the Dead that I did.
Alright, well, no panic. We'll do it for next time.
Sounds good.
I'm going to use my bonus action and transfer as a bonus action the hex on the next creature and give that one also disadvantage on strength. And next time I hit that bugbear, I take one of those who flank my friend Gwen. So
Okay.
there's this shroud of dark energy as the curse takes hold of that bugbear.
Alright, no problem.
Mhm.
Shaz. Well, I presume that you finished with that anyway.
Yeah, I will fall back a bit further, making sure that no one's behind me and
Nothing behind you. That's all. Shaz?
Okay, he's kind of realised everybody's starting to kick ass, and he decides to wake up. He will just give an evil smile, and he says, like, now the situation has turned to my advantage. Witness the power of my awesome masculinity. And there will be a firebolt cast at the next nearest bugbear.
Okay. Let's have it.
So ranged spell attack. What does your spell attack come from again? I don't play many mages.
For a sorcerer, it should be charisma modifier.
Yeah, there we go. That's fine. Right, so that will be a 14.
Okay, it's a firebolt, right?
Yes.
Okay, that misses. So it just goes sailing past this guy's shoulder as he's swinging his Morning Star around. Now, is that a cantrip?
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So he looks kind of like just like spitting at the fireball, saying like, "Useless fireball."
Anything else from you?
Nope, that'll be it.
Okay. Bugbears are going to roll up again, and the one next to Gwen is going to once again try and bring this Morning Star in, but Gwen, you've got his measure by this point, and the shield just comes up automatically. No issue whatsoever, It just catches it perfect. The other two, one of them is going to go for Cray, and let's have a look. 18 hit. Cray?
Yes, it hit.
Alright. So he brings his Morning Star up to smash you across the shoulder. You take 5 points of damage.
God damn it! It's my favorite shoulder.
Sorry?
It's my favorite shoulder.
Fortunately, it's not the one that Carter's perched on. The next bugbear goes for Shaz. Shaz, does 13 hit you?
Let's have a quick look. 13, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so he brings his Morning Star up. It's the one that you fired the firebolt at, actually, and he looks pretty pissed off with you. You take 10 points of damage as this spiked club just comes crashing into your torso.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like, ha ha ha! What?
Gwen, you're up.
Am I not getting a turn?
You come up after Gwen, I believe. Or have I got it the other way around? Which one of you two are going first? Because you had the same initiative.
Gwen has a higher dex.
Yes, so Gwen goes first, and then it's Cray.
All right. So as I block his blow and kind of send him reeling from that, I'll say, "Let Mother show you how it's done." And I raise the warhammer in like a twirling motion up behind me and bring it down on top of his head. Roll a d20. Does a 17 hit?
It does. Roll me some damage.
All right. That is a d8 because it's not two-handed right now.
Now, this is the guy that's got the hex on him, so does he take extra damage here?
I think he only takes extra damage when I hit him
Okay.
with something.
Okay.
So,
I think so, yeah.
I do think so.
So I got a 6 total damage. I rolled a 4 and I have a +2.
Okay, he takes the hit. It crashes down on his head, but he's got a pretty thick skull.
And I'll say, would you like another one?
I'll show you another
That'll
one,
be nice.
And he starts winding this morning star up.
Okay.
Cray?
So I want to shoot the bugbear that's currently being held by my hold person spell
Okay.
with my crossbow and 13.
Trying to think, do you get any sort of advantage to hit with him being stationary?
I think so, if they're
It's a good
considered...
point. I don't honestly know on that one, actually.
If
I
he's
think if they're
restrained,
considered...
I'm just going to look the paralyzed condition up. Bear with me.
if you attack a restrained victim, then you get advantage.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so I can. No, it's worse. It's 11 now.
Okay, you're a bit put off because you're locked in single combat with a bugbear, and it's taken a good hit to you. So, although you're trying to get around him and loose this crossbow bolt, he's putting you off that much that it just sails past him and off into the grass behind.
I swear, and I'm gonna. Can I put my crossbow away?
It would cost you an action to stow it. You could drop it,
Then I'm dropping it.
and I would say that you can use your bonus action to pull your rapier out if you want to do that, or whichever your melee weapon is.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my rapier from now.
Okay. Top of the round. Siri.
Yeah, I'm going to blast the one that I hexed in the last round, that I transferred the hex to. Who's still with my friend Gwen. And that's, a 20 should hit, right?
Is it nat 20 or?
hits, no, a dirty
Okay,
20.
alright. Yeah, definitely hits.
It's, that's 13 points of damage. 4 points of necrotic and 9 points of force damage as this purplish ray of energy blasts out of my hand.
Okay.
And over my shoulder.
And over your shoulder.
13, yeah?
Yes.
Alright, this guy's winding the morning star up and he's looking very evil intent towards Gwen, and then all of a sudden, wham, this smash of energy just hits him full on in the face. And yeah,
we've done this combo 100 times. I give her the thumbs up. Like, good job. You just...
you've just burnt away half of his face, in essence.
I like
There's a
this.
clear exposure of jawline.
Tag
And
team
everything.
move. I'm liking it.
Yep.
Is he still alive?
Cool.
He's still standing, but he is in some serious pain.
Well done.
Now finish him off, Gwen! I yell.
You know it.
Shaz, you got a bugbear on you. What are you going to do?
So he's basically been attacked with a bat of sorts. Is that right?
He's been hit with a morning star.
A morning star. Okay.
He's just smashed you in the ribs pretty hard with it.
Okay, so basically, he's just gonna look a little bit. He's a little bit dazed. Okay, so I think we got off on the right foot here. I said things. You buried a very rusty-looking spike in my shoulder. I think we should just shake and make up. And he's going to put his hand on the bugbear and cast Shocking Grasp.
All right, go for it.
I love it.
Okay. That is a 19.
That hits.
Yeah, because I really wanted to pull that off. I can imagine him missing. Okay, so 2d8, because I'm at level 5. That's a 2. And another 2.
All right. Does it have any other status effects? Shocking Grasp? I can't remember. I think it's on Metal Armor, isn't it?
It can't take reactions until the start of its next turn.
Is that valid on Metal Armor, or is it just in general?
Oh, I've got advantage on the attack if it's wearing.
Okay. Right, it's not
Yeah.
wearing Metal Armor, but it has disadvantage on its next go, yeah?
No, it can't take reactions.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I also think Careless Whisper starts playing as you stare into each other's eyes, and then
Splendid, like it. All right, Gwen.
Oh,
You've just seen the bugbear you're fighting lose half its facial features.
all right. So I give the thumbs up, and I know what to do. Like I said, we've done this move enough times, so I take my warhammer and I swing it like a modern day baseball bat. I'm just going to try to take it right off. So she winds up, she takes a big step forward, and she swings right at the side of his head. And I got a 15.
Okay, as you go to swing this Warhammer up to go to smash the unmarred side of its face, the bugbear reacts by swinging its shield up, and it catches the Warhammer bang against the base of the shield.
Oh, and I was not expecting that. So she lets out like a, like next time she'll get it. And that'll be the end of my turn for now.
Okay, great.
So I have to ask you a very strange question.
Go for it. I'm going to spend a night for
Are there any convenient clusters of
You broke up. Convenient clusters of.
bugbear?
One of them's locked in
Or
combat.
they...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, one of them's locked in combat with Gwen. The other one's with Shaz, and the other one's with you. They're all within about 15 feet of each other, or 20 feet max. But you're all also in the same area as them.
Okay, then I'm just gonna swing at the bugbear that has been attacking me.
Okay.
Oh god damn it! Today is the day of.
Those dice aren't going to like being slung around like that.
It's a 20.
20 something.
It's 21.
Okay, that hits.
Oh, where's my D8? It gets damage.
It's what? Sorry. Your mic's cutting out like crazy. I can't pick up a lot.
You.
Is it just me, or can you guys? No.
no, she's breaking up for me as well.
I know you hit, but I don't know how much damage you dealt.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little better.
Should we take a little break so she can get.
Can do.
Yeah. What do you guys reckon? Should put up a technical
it's needed.
difficulties.
I'm good for a quick one.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Anne? Do you want to take a break while we try and fix it?
Maybe restart.
Reboot or something?
Yeah, try a reboot.
Quick thumbs up, yeah? All right.
Yeah.
We'll be back very shortly, guys. Don't go anywheres. Hello, hello, we're back. Alright, tech issues are fixed. We've had to lose a camera, unfortunately, but we have now got audio, so that's just as good. Now, we just left off. Cray was about to attack and had successfully hit a bugbear, but we wanted to find out how much damage she dealt. So, Cray,
It was
how hard
5.
did you hit this guy? 5 damage. Alright. So we're going to take that from him. That one. Sweet. Anything else from your turn?
No, I can spit in his face, but that's not gonna do
It's a free action.
damage. Then I do. Then I gladly spit in his face.
Okay, the bugbear glares at you and it just gets this really vicious look in its eye, but it's almost leering, but in an animalistic way. Oh, we're going to eat on proper man meat tonight. And the bugbears are actually going to take their turn, because I forgot it somewhere in there. Gwen,
Yes.
you're locked in combat with a bugbear. He's going to have a go at you again. Does a 19 hit you?
It would, but my shimmering shield seems to force away the weapon.
Awesome. He's getting frustrated. Ow! Why won't
think
you
I
die?
I think I probably lose that spell by now. It's only 10 minutes.
Alright, there's one more that's still in the frozen position, and he's failing his save throw again to get out of that. I'm going to presume that a 14 misses you, Shaz.
No.
14 hits. Alright. You take another 7 points of damage as this morning star crashes into the other side of your ribs.
Sorry, which? How much?
7.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. And that will be the lot for them. We're going to go top of the round.
Yeah.
Sari.
The one that I blasted last time is still standing, right? He looks pretty crushed, but
It's the one that's locked in combat with Gwen.
with
And
Gwen.
yeah, you melted half his face off. He's not looking well at all.
okay. I'm going to melt off the other half now.
Go for it.
Does a 16 hit?
16 hits, yep.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that is 8 points of force damage and 5 points of necrotic damage, so 13 points of damage. That should do the trick, right? To kill him?
Absolutely, yeah. You just get this another fireball come crashing in, and basically, Gwen, as you parry this attack, you see this searing bolt of purple energy crash into the bugbear again, and what you end up facing is a bugbear's torso with a skull on its head. And it just
Oh my god.
straight back
I
over
got
and
it
just
for you,
collapses on the ground.
dear. I have from the back. And then I'm going to move the energy, the hex, from that one that just fell to the ground with my bonus action to the one that's locked in combat with Cray.
Alright. You move
He
the
looks
hex around.
pretty fresh, right? Or is he... Which one is the more...
The one that's
which one of
attacking
them-
Cray hasn't really taken any damages yet. Nothing drastic.
Then I'm going to move it there.
Okay. As you do that, you hear a small shout from a female voice off to the west, and it's coming from the grass. It says, "Get out! Out to the open! It's almost upon you! Come, here!" And you look to the side and you see what appears to be an elf. Half of her is out of the grass and she's pointing quite desperately towards something above you. And as she does, you all see this huge shadow pass overhead.
Oh no.
Oh, no, don't do that.
And a second later, there's a crash that vibrates through the floor, and a giant black raven lands amongst you,
Oh, thank God.
and it goes straight for the bugbear that's paralyzed. Its beak comes down almost immediately. The bugbear's got no resistance to it, and with just one snap, it bisects this guy in two.
Sam, is this revenge for that time we gave you shit about shooting an arrow at a raven?
Guess it's card references, go watch it.
Oh my god.
So in the middle of the path, there is this enormous raven that's just bisected this bugbear. I'm going to give
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you imagine if we gave shit Sam about a flesh golem in this situation?
It'd
Hey,
be the end of our one shot if we did.
if you're daring it.
You're going to give us.
Okay, so Raven's just come down bisect to this bugbear. Shaz, it's your turn.
Okay. I think he's well. First of all, he's going to hear the comment about man meat, dining on man meat. He's just gonna, well, got this big mace embedded in him, just go like, "You're dying on man meat? Are you serious? I don't think she needs much instruction in that." And then he's just like, it's still getting bludgeoned with this spiky ball. He's just like, "Would you stop freaking doing that?" It's just like, let's see, what shall he cast now? We're going to go with another shocking grasp, but I will use Tide of Magic.
Okay, so you get advantage on the roll.
Yep,
That's chaos.
do get the advantage. Da-da. And that will be 18.
Hits.
Yeah. Let's see, and it only affects the actual attack, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just affects the attack roll, doesn't do anything with
Yeah.
damage.
All right, well, 2d8s. Which is a 3 and a 5.
So another 8 points of damage into this guy. He's still standing, but you see him as this go, and you start to see singed. You get the scent of singed fur, and you see a little bit of smoke begin to rise from it.
Oh, damn it. I wish I could have another one. Right, at that, he's actually going to cast a bonus action. You can do cantrip, can't you? Oh, no.
Was
no,
Shocking Grasp a bonus action, or was Shocking Grasp a cantrip, or what?
No, it's okay. I'm talking out my ass here.
If you've got meta magic, I think you can do twin spells or quicken spells, something like that.
Yeah. Let's see.
I think quicken
depends on
spell
the
allows you
meta
to
magic.
cast a spell as a bonus action, and then you can use whatever
Yeah.
cantrip.
Right. Perfect. Either way, then. Use a bonus action to cast. I'll tell you what, I can't believe. Scroll through my files here. There we go. Expeditious Retreat. Bonus action.
Okay, are you using meta magic for that?
Oh yes. So it's definitely.
Which one are you using? The quicken?
Oh no, sorry, wild magic. Is this going to trip it, or is it the next spell?
Just bear with me a second, because I'm not sure you've got enough actions to do it. Although it's a bonus action, your Shocking Grasp would have been an action, right?
Yes.
Okay, and did you use any sort of meta magic on it to increase its casting time, or decrease?
No, I think it said that you can use cast a spell.
If you cast a spell with a spell time of bonus action, then you can use a cantrip. If your spell costs a normal action, then you can't.
Yeah. Okay.
And Shocking Grasp is an action, right?
Yes, but a cantrip.
Yeah, but that still counts as a spell.
Right. Okay.
It still costs you an action to cast, regardless.
Okay. I think he's then going to. You might as well just.
you might go out.
I've been trying to think of something I could possibly do, but maybe cast a friend's cantrip. But no, I don't think there's anything else really that I'm
If
going
your
to do.
action was a cantrip and you're using Expeditious Retreat as a bonus action, you can of course do that this round.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm wanting to do.
Yeah. So do it.
Is it is Expeditious Retreat a spell?
I thought he's casting it as a bonus action, right?
Yeah, it is a bonus action.
Oh, if it's a bonus action spell, then
It's a
yeah,
bonus
sure.
action.
Sorry.
Did I not say that it was a bonus action?
Maybe. I'm tired, man. It wouldn't surprise me if I screwed it.
I was going around, so I was thinking, like, this reads right. I'm reading this right, aren't I?
Okay, go for it. So what does it do?
Basically gives. I've got to fucking scroll up.
When you
Where is
cast a
it?
spell and as a bonus action on each of your turns until the spell ends, which is 10 minutes if you hold concentration, you can take a dash action.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, and that says when you cast it, then it's a bonus action. So I can't do it now.
All right.
Cancel
You
action.
can cast it now as a bonus action, and then in the next round can take the dash
Yeah.
action as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's basically, yeah. So he's going to,
So basically, you get to double dash. Is what we're saying.
yeah. So he's going to basically speed away now, and take the dash as well.
Okay. If you're going to do that, you're going to trigger an attack of opportunity from the
Yeah,
bugbear.
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
And he rolls a nat 1. So as he goes to swing at you, he goes a little bit too hard, and a second later he realizes that he's actually lost his grip on his Morning Star, and it's going somewhere over there.
Okay.
And you've got plenty of room to start legging it. Which direction are you going?
Away from it, sort of as towards other people.
Okay, you've got the elven woman on your left in the grass trying to get your attention to get you over to her. So
Yeah. Okay. Then he goes in that direction. Just
splendid.
consciously. Yeah.
Gwen, you've just seen this enormous raven land and just clip this bugbear in two with one snap of its beak.
Yeah. And I remember that bugbear saying, "Why won't you die?" So I look at its ashen corpse and I say, could have said the same about you." And then I look at the remaining couple of them and I say, "Leave them, let's go." And I turn and I start running towards the grass. But I'm hoping everyone will hear me and know to fall back.
Are you running towards the elven woman?
The elven woman, and I'm hoping then that the bird will see the two weakened bugbears as easier prey than us.
Hmm.
Okay, the path was about 120 feet wide. You were about in the middle of it, so I would say that if you took a dash action, you could get to the grass.
I will dash and I will dive into the weeds.
All right, as you get there, you find the elven woman sort of grabs you by the hand and pulls you in a little bit, and she's looking quite anxiously towards the rest. Cray.
So I see the elven woman, and even though the raven looks like a challenge and I can feel my blood boiling, my not orcish side is telling me to save my ass, and I want to, and I do run towards the elven woman and Gwen.
All right,
Full
again,
speed.
if you take that dash action, you can again meet up. You and Gwen get there pretty much at the same time, so the woman grabs both of you and just yanks you both in that little bit further, and you get into the cover, which leaves Seri, a couple of bugbears, and Shaz, who's already well on his way to legging it. Seri, it's top of the round.
Yeah, I'm going to use my action to cast Eldritch Blast on the one that I transferred the hex to.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if 14 will hit.
It does not.
It does not. So the blast just goes wide.
The blast goes wide. It very nearly strikes the raven.
Okay. I'm
and
going.
You see its eyes. Its head snaps, and you see its eyes focus in your direction.
Ah, snap. I'm going to cast as a bonus action Misty Step, and
Okay.
the silvery mist engulfs me and transfers me 30 foot closer to the elven woman. I have been retreating steadily, so
You have.
am I the closest to her?
It depends how you retreated. Would you have gone directly back or off to one side a little bit?
I would have gone. Maybe a bit to the side.
Yeah,
But
I would have said you're reasonably close to them. I'd say if you've missed your step to get 30 feet, you've still got your movement. You've more than enough to get to the grass and get in there, no problem.
Okay, then I use my movement to dash to run the rest of the way towards them.
All right, so everybody but Shaz, I think, is currently in the grass. Shaz is about a few feet off from it. But as we roll back around, the bugbears are looking around in panic at seeing their comrade just get clipped in two. And as they try to scatter, the raven just leaps forward. It pins one under its claw, reaches down with the beak, and the head comes clean off. Shaz, you're up.
Shaz is still on expeditious retreats.
Yep.
So he'll basically just keep legging it in that direction, moving
No problem. So you all successfully get to the grass, and you find this elven woman, short in stature, looking there, a little bit dishevelled, but quite glad to have you all here. We need to leave now. And she turns and starts moving through the grass, heading off in a westerly direction. But she does stop to look back to make sure you're all following.
Yeah, let's follow her. Does
I-
she have
Are
headgear?
are you guys thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm not sure
If
you
you're
are
thinking about
That we should maybe tie her up and leave her behind as bait.
Wait, what?
You
That's what
see,
the bird-
bugbears
you
are
see her
for.
hand drop to a longsword. And her
Ignore
eyes
him.
narrow.
Ignore him. Let's just go.
Stories of corrupt law enforcement are common.
I'm no law officer, and we need to leave. The path is not safe. If we put some distance between us, the grass should keep us covered from its eyes. And she begins to lead you further and further into the west. And after a time, the screams from the dying bugbears fade away, and you've successfully put enough distance between yourself that you feel, okay, you've kind of managed to avoid this conflict. And the elven woman seems to relax a little bit as time goes on. And she looks you all over. Who are you? Why are you here?
I look up at Gwen and wait for her to answer.
Well, we were sent by the new owner, and we're meant to inspect the place. We didn't expect it to be laden with magical traps, and here we are.
There's a new owner.
You didn't hear that Doomstaff sold the place, probably because of this kind of problem.
Well, no, but Doomstaff doesn't really discuss business with us. We're just the employees. Who she sold it
Then
to?
you,
Harpo?
You're gonna have to
Carter?
remind me.
Carter.
Yes,
I'm calling.
yes.
Introduce yourself, darling.
Greetings. I need to look up the thing. Hold on. I can't remember the whole spiel offhand. I am the cartographical assistant. Relief, terrain, elevation, and range. The master calls me Carter. Feel free to do the same. And the elf looks it over and says, "You're one of Harpo's, aren't you?" Yes, yes I am. Definitely. The master sent these fine people to come and investigate his new holdings. And I must say, it's a mess. And the elf lets a dry chuckle at that. Yeah, yes it is. This all happened a few weeks ago. About a month now we've been stuck like this. And no one knows why.
And who are you and what's your name?
I'm Sorcia.
I'm sorry.
A
Sorcia.
pleasure. Though I wish it was under better circumstances. I'm one of the gardeners here. One of the orchard tenders. There's a few of us that have managed to survive, but there are some that we have not heard of since the accident, if you must call it that. If you accompany me, there's a basket not far from here. This is where most of us are surviving.
Did you say a basket?
Yes. We were
Lead the way.
picnicking at the time.
Does Shaz look very hurt?
She doesn't look hurt. She's armed. She's got the little longsword, and on her back she's carrying what at first glance looks to be a spear or a javelin, but at closer inspection it's a cocktail stick.
But I meant
But at the
Shaz.
size,
He's the party member.
Yeah.
The
she looks a
Dragonborn.
bit. She looks a bit dishevelled. She looks like the kind of person.
She's not getting on her. Dude, she's asking Shaz. It looks,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shaz! What's
Sorry.
Shaz looking like?
The Dragonborn.
Oh,
But
beg
he's
your
not
pardon.
hurt.
I know he's not. I know he's kind of sunk into the background a bit and been a bit subtle. You know, but
It's the names are similar.
Yeah. What is
Probably
Jason
because he's
Parrott?
bleeding profusely and therefore quiet.
Now we know how to solve it in the future. You will notice that Gwen, however, is carrying her shoulder a little tenderly.
Good. I'm going to cast Healing Light then, or I'm using my Pact Boon from the Celestial Realms to heal my friends. And I'm going to heal Gwen for 6 points And I'm going to heal Shaz for 11 points.
Hey, almost to top up.
Gwen will walk
Well-
up to you and say, "Thank you, dear," but she'll kind of whisper, "But you must be careful doing that, else you'll give yourself away." And she'll just kind of nod, and she'll try to keep it only so you can hear it.
I
Since
thought
I'm such
it's good magic, and that's okay then.
No, I appreciate it, but your identity, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to help.
You're a great help.
I look chagrined. Down.
I pat her on the head and be like, "No, you did well. I just fear for your safety, you know."
Okay. I will do better next time. I will wait.
Since I'm such a low priority, I cast Cure Wounds on myself for 4 points.
Not bitter or anything.
Oh, sorry. I thought you
You
were
do-
fine. I only thought the
I
others
wanna
were
get-
hurt.
I will say that if
I-
that
I-
spell,
I would have included you in this
Yeah.
spell had I
if
known
that
that
spell
you
does
were hurt.
affect more people, then yeah, you can by all means
I
put it
will-
on
I will
Cray.
heal you for 5 then.
Meantime, Kaz is going to regard the new friend and said, Are you serious? Did you say you were a gardener?
Yes.
Only
An
the
orchard
worst
tender.
gardener in the world. This grass is like 100 feet tall.
She. What? You do
Did not-
realize it's proportional.
No, he doesn't.
Ah,
He does not.
the motto of the lazy gardener.
Right. Well, if you think you could do better,
Yeah, I could.
well, here you are, and she hands you a weed whacker,
No.
a shovel, a scythe, whatever. Get
No,
started.
he's going to not even take it. He's going he's going to fire burning hands. So,
By your reaction, I take it that this is not a normal, not some kind of defense mechanism or something. This is something new. I ask shyly, looking around Gwen.
Oh no, heavens! Do you think I would have decided to work here if this was the conditions?
I mean, it's magic trees that are being mined like a silver mine, so
They're not really mined. It's more when they shed their leaves, we collect them.
oh, you're just hacking them together.
But no, this, as I said, this happened about 4 weeks ago, and we've been unable to fathom exactly why.
so can I?
Strange.
Can he roll? Can he roll?
Yeah,
his,
if you want to go for it, go for it.
spell?
This is very mysterious.
Shaz kills everyone, episode 32.
Mm-hmm.
So it's he's obviously aiming it away from everybody. It's a 15-foot cone. All it's there's no attack on it. It just
That's right. So a 15-foot cone of grass just suddenly erupts into flames,
excellent.
and for as long as the spell lasts, all the grass gets burnt, and then as it dissipates, you're left with a blackened patch in a perfect cone, in essence. But it's a very, very small proportion of grass considering the scale.
He just walks past the gardener, saying, "Like, see, that doesn't take a frickin' genius."
But
Well,
what
if
does
you've got a
take
few years to spare.
We're going to take a. Can we do the wild magic roll?
Is it a spell or is it a cantrip?
It's a spell.
If it's a
Well,
spell,
got
then
a
yeah, go
spell
for
on
it.
this, yes.
What table would you like to roll on?
The friendly one, PHB one.
Go for it.
Okay, sorry. What is this? The
D100, I believe.
100.
Search for it now.
So that will be a 64.
64. You cast the spell Fog Cloud, centered on yourself.
Okay.
Give me a second to find out what that entails.
This is the way it's. I've got an idea.
Where are we? Fog Cloud.
I think we have 3/4 cover or
So
something.
you create a
20-foot sphere of fog centered on a point within range, you. The sphere
20
spreads
foot
around
radius.
corners, and this area is heavily obstructed. It lasts for the duration or until a wind of moderate or greater speed disperses it. The duration is an hour.
Let's see. So basically, he's got that's a 20-foot radius as well.
Yeah. As Shaz casts this flaming cone of fire and lights up all the backblast of the ash just suddenly seems to get thicker and congeal around you all. And within seconds, you can't see what the hell's going on around you. You can't even see each other.
Have we just like done D&D's version of 9/11?
Oh no.
Oh lord.
If I let you guys keep going, that's probably what's going to happen.
I'm
You just
sorry.
hear Gwen yell.
Bad taste.
You just hear Gwen. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just apologising.
You
It's
don't
okay.
mean it.
You hear Gwen loudly say, "Well, I didn't think it would be possible for anyone to both alert the bird and hide us from his presence at the same time, but Shaz, you amazed me once again today." There's a little bit of an edge to her voice after everything that's happened.
Amazing, yes.
Sorsha looks around with, well, you can't see, but you hear a panicked shout. What now? More magic?
I'll search for Gwen's hand in the fog to hold her hand so we don't lose each other.
Roll me a...
I was standing right beside her.
You can roll it with
And I counted.
advantage, but go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand, I think.
Perception?
I couldn't hear you cut out, mate.
What
Sleight
am
of
I?
hand.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, go ahead. You can roll it with
Oh,
advantage, but
oh,
go ahead
yeah.
and roll it.
Okay, I think we all had the same idea then.
That's 17.
17, okay.
Hmm.
Can I get sleight of hand from everybody else as well? Just to see who's closest to him?
19. Did you get a 20?
I got a nat 20.
You're not 20.
Alright.
Oh, fuck.
Everybody else? Gwen, what did you get?
19.
19. And
What am I rolling?
Cray, I just want a nat
Sleight
20.
of
I just want a
hand.
sleight of hand check.
A 9.
Okay, Gwen is actually the closest in numerical distance to what's your roll, so Gwen does manage to...
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I was going for who's closest in numbers. So yes, sorry, you do manage to get hold of Gwen's hand amidst the fog.
Oh,
we
watch
don't
where you're
lose it.
grabbing there, darling. Here's my hand.
I'm sorry.
Accident.
I don't want to lose you.
Cray, you feel something detached from your shoulder, and you hear that mechanical flapping of wings.
Your butt is really firm, by the way. All that walking is paying off. Don't you worry.
Okay,
Thank
can I
you.
roll? Has Shaz got any chance of finding them accurately, following their voices?
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as she says that, he's just going to appear, his head between them, looming through the smoke, with a big grin on his face. He says, I still have some olive oil stuck to my scales that I can scrape off.
Ooh.
Was that your hand, Shaz?
From
Must
up,
have been.
go ahead. From up above, you hear a voice cry out, a familiar voice. I can see the distance to the picnic basket. If you can follow my voice, I might be able to lead us there, despite this... It's rather odd, really. It looks rather focused on you from up here.
Oh, you're so useful, Carter. Thank you. And we'll try to follow.
Alright.
Is she laced with sarcasm?
And Carter will manage to navigate you guys through voice over time. It takes a little bit longer than it would have,
Splendid.
but you do manage to get up to this picnic basket. By the time you do, it's a fair distance, so by the time you do, the fog cloud begins to dissipate and eventually fades away. Sorsha will look very relieved at finding this basket safely, and just remarks up to the owl, "That's a very useful thing you have there."
He's not ours, and he doesn't want me to look at his butt.
Well, I wouldn't either.
I just wanted to investigate how he was made.
Oh, well, there's better ways of doing that than looking up its backside.
What would you propose to do? I wanted to take him apart, but he was against that as well. So
In my experience, it's best to leave the affairs of wizards to wizards. Otherwise, things like this happen.
do you think someone tried to take a mechanical bird apart, and this is why this happened?
No, but
It doesn't seem very logical.
something is happening between the wizards, I would assume. We're all caught in the middle, usually how it goes.
Hmm.
And as you get near the basket, she lets out a quick whistle, and a strand appears and drops down from the side of it. After you.
Do you want me to climb that?
Well, there's no ladder, so
I don't do climbing.
well, you best learn.
I look at Gwen. Okay, I
will
try
try
it.
to assist, and I'll give her tips. I'll tell her that if she wraps her leg around and kind of shimmies up the rope, it might make it a little easier.
I do this awkward wrap around with one leg around the rope, and I rolled a 4, and I have a -1 on athletics. Which
Okay,
is
but
for
you're getting
climbing,
help, so
I
you
have
can roll with
I have
advantage.
3.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a
Can I-
9 then.
Can I use my inspiration with a 19 climb roll to somehow put Syri on my back and then climb up the rope?
Yeah, if you want to do that.
I truly, truly do.
Is it just me, or is this session really taken on an erotic?
No, the word you're looking
You're the
for
one
is
who's
moronic,
talking about
not erotic.
Just
scale
okay.
scraping.
So, Craig, you
Look,
managed
guys.
to get Shaz upon Siri up on
Not
your back.
Shaz, fuck that.
Yeah, no. You managed to piggyback her up, and using your brute orcish, half orcish strength, you managed to successfully climb the basket with the pair of you.
I would like you to roll a perception check when you pick me up.
Oh my
If
god.
I can call that out.
Oh my god. It's a 5.
Oh, perfect. All is well. It's fine.
Okay, as you get to the top, you see that there's a very traditional checkered red and white cloth cover on top of this picnic basket, but there's a slight cut in it. And as you drop down through the cut, you find yourself in amongst the group of wood elves, it appears. There's about 30 people packed into this picnic basket, but obviously given the size, it's very, very spacious. It's also got some very large chunks of extremely stale bread, and they appear to be using it for furniture.
Nice.
Okay. As you guys get in, the rope comes back down for Shaz and Gwen.
After you, my friend.
Shaz just goes up there, and he's going to see the sight when he gets to the top. He just goes like, "Whoa! Talk about your filthy piece of crap house."
It's better than not having one with that thing around.
I don't think it is. I think you should be ashamed.
Is the raven the greatest danger you're facing at the
One,
moment?
pretty much. There's a number of other ones. We've had a number of insects and bugs and that sort of thing, but the raven by far, if you go out in the open, you won't last long. You saw what it did to the bugbears.
Guess you don't have.
Sorry, your mic cut.
That's okay. We didn't like them anyway.
She accidentally muted, I think.
Oh, sorry. I guess you don't have a magic user who can charm the raven or talk to him.
Oh, no. We're simple orchard tenders. Magic is something that's best left to the Harpools or Freya Doomstaff in the local area. They don't take too kindly to people interfering in magical business in their
But you're
protected
elf.
areas.
I thought elves were so highly magical. I read about it. There's this beautiful book about the magic, the ancient magic of the elves. And Michalas and stuff like that.
Of sorts. It's more that that charming magic doesn't really have as great an effect on us. But as far as charming goes, that's something left to spellcasters, and that's far beyond any of us.
Oh, that's too bad because I'm not a specialist in charming magic either. I mean, how hard can it be to kill one raven?
With one that size, I haven't bothered to try. And
We did see what it did to those bugbears.
I've got
Yeah.
no intention of bringing any of my people closer to trying it.
Well, we need to get more bugbears, then we need to poison their bodies, and when it eats them, it's going to kill itself. We
I
need
can
poison.
explode a raven's eye, and I think that will drive at least one away from us.
Ooh.
Talking as an experienced hunter and immolator of small animals, I can indeed confirm that the raven is very easy to kill.
Well, if you're feeling that confident, I won't stop you.
Okay. So he's, I guess Shaz is just going to set going and going to say, like, anybody coming?
Gwen is like,
I think
just about
Gwen's
ready to
just
grab the
breathing
collar.
hard.
If you want my advice, you'd head towards the centre of the orchard. There's a table there. It's the last place we saw Miss Doomstaff. She was working on something. But none of us have been able to get quite that far. In truth, we don't really want to go that far from the basket. It's the safest place we have. And we're not fighters.
Well, neither would we.
You look
Not
significantly
that
more
far.
capable than I do.
Well, yeah, this place ain't too bad once you get used to the smell and just the overall appearance of you people. But hey, and now what kind of food is this? You say stale bread?
Yeah, stale bread, kind of basic stuff there, sandwiches and that you pack for picnics. Most of the fresh food is gone.
He's going to just start tearing chunks off the corner of the couch.
um,
And I was like,
Are you actually eating it?
Not too bad, no.
You are actually eating it.
He's eating the couch.
Let's have a con save if you are.
Oh, that's his special line.
he knows I could have freshened that up for him. She says.
Right, okay, here we go. So this is +3, +2, +5. Whoa, 24.
Okay, you're fine.
Great. That's his saving grace.
Well, I'm sorry about my companion, for lack of better term. Here, allow me to make up for it. And Gwen will start pulling out her rations. And I believe her pack has 10 rations, and she will keep one and hand the remaining 9 out to the people here. I mean, they probably are starving by this point.
They look reasonably decent, considering. But yeah, they certainly appreciate it. And so says pack it round. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
I should have brought the salted pork, I say as I hand out the cheese that I stashed from earlier.
At the mention of salted pork, you do see a few of them start to salivate.
The way you can repay us for the food is to please tell us anything you saw, anything you know about what Madam Doomstaff was doing at that table before this all went wrong.
There's little I can tell you, unfortunately. She was a rather eccentric wizard, and she didn't care for our interference. We got on well enough when we were left alone to do our work, and vice versa. But Miss Doomstaff, whatever she was working on, it was experimental. She's known for her experiments. And she was quite keen that we didn't get involved. But whatever happened...
Perhaps...
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, perhaps she was right to be cautious, and I just look around at the whole situation.
Perhaps, but it seems that if she is the cause of it, it's affected us all anyway. And we've tried leaving the garden, and that is no help. We retain this size no matter how far we seem to get. Not that we dared venture much further than the gate.
I pull at your cloak, Gwen, and I say, Gwen, when we entered, I casted. I had detect magic casted on myself, and there was this weird swirl of glitter and energy around the table. I do think that this is the solution to whatever is going on here, reaching that table. Have you tried to go to the table? I asked Sasha and the other elves.
Oh no. The path's far too dangerous.
Because of the raven.
Yes, I mean, the path would take you directly there, but out in the open, the raven will have you in moments. You could go through the grass, but it's finding it is going to be nigh impossible, I'm afraid. Well, not impossible, but extremely difficult.
What about if we go at night? I have dark vision. I can see in the dark, and I don't know. You can't see in the dark, right, Gwen? But ravens
I
sleep at
cannot
night.
see in the dark. Gwen can't see in the dark, but she will mention, and while you lead it... Oh, go ahead.
And I could hold your hand, and then you can follow my footsteps, so you wouldn't bump into grass trees, for lack of a better term.
Sorry, it was cutting out a little bit, but I'm back. Gwen will say, if you can lead us in the night, I can locate that table using magic
Okay.
and help lead the way. I can tell you the direction, and you can lead us.
I can hold your hand and lead you, yes. I also can cast light, but I think if we cast light, some other creature like bat or so, and it would be just as equally... It would be as bad as the raven a bat.
Well, if the
Well, I
raven
laughed.
attacks, we can ask Shaz to cast a firebolt and obscure all of us. And she'll just cast him kind of a slightly dirty look that you've not really seen her do before.
Yeah.
You
I
think
don't
he
think
was
that
the
it
source
works
of
like
that?
that. Oh, he's the source of all kinds of manners of things that are uncomfortable or impolite.
I've known him for 2 days, and I can assure you he's always the source of that.
Nice. If you go through the grass, it will be safer, but it's going to be harder to navigate. And if you do get to the other side, there is a stream that you're going to have to cross. The path has a bridge, but it's very exposed, even more so. But the stream, I don't know how you'd cross that.
Okay. So basically, you've got the bridge, yeah?
The path has a bridge, but
Yeah.
obviously both it and the path are really exposed. The other option is to go through the grass, which is a big navigational nightmare. But as Gwen said, she can work with locate object, so you might be able to navigate that way. If you do go through the grass, you've got to contend with the stream and find a crossing point or some way of fording it.
Well, Shaz is going to just still be angling forward, not realising that everybody's stopped or anything. So he's going to be going towards the bridge.
As you're still in the picnic basket at this point, I would assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. I would like to take a break if that is okay. Not as I said it as Siri. I would like to transform Charles and turn him into something that can see very well at night. So if we go at night, he can. I can use him to scry because at the moment he's just a tortoise, and I don't think that is going to help lots.
Before you do anything further,
Mhm.
there's a flapping of wings, and Carter alights on the picnic basket entrance as such, the tearing the cloth, before Shaz to stop him leaving. Not to stop him leaving, but certainly to put himself in front. And its chest cavity opens up, and out comes a strip of paper again, and it pipes up. I may be able to help. I have a full map of the orchard layout. Navigation won't be a problem if you rely on my guidance.
Oh, that would be perfect. At the moment, it's also the problem is not finding the table, I imagine, but finding it without being seen by the raven or other hostile creatures.
And I must admit, I worry about my ability to protect us. I have used more magic than I ought to have today. Perhaps it is best that we rest and then wait until nightfall.
I'm also out of spells. I could use a nap and a sandwich.
You are more
Oh,
than
he's a
welcome to stay the
chief.
night.
Shaz is going to turn back and he's going to say, to say like, oh, yeah, he just sort of stretches and says like, come to think of it, I could do with getting my head down.
So are we in agreement then that we take a rest here and set out while it's still dark outside?
Chaz has
Right
already
beside the table?
taken a spot on the couch that he's damaged and
Couch?
snoring.
A few of the wood elves very deliberately get up off the couch and walk away from you.
Right, and he puts his feet up and just lies down and hip on the couch. He's already snoring by the time you're saying that.
Can you imagine him drooling and waking up in a pile of bread mush, just like
Ew.
You go just like you go there the whole
Wet,
day.
stale bread. Ugh. Lovely.
Can you imagine though, as he's slowly sinking through the night, as he drools more and more, and just like
Yes, I can
Freaking-
imagine.
Technically, wouldn't it be like frozen drool?
oh, true.
Drool
Oh,
that freezes
yeah.
the bread.
Of course, you're right.
Little ice cubes fall out of his lips. Like.
Yeah.
He has his frozen snot, basically.
Oh yeah. Oh god. All right, let's get ahead of ourselves. Let's let everybody
Oh.
keep that in mind.
Craig, you've been quiet. Any thoughts?
I'm going to... Yeah. No. Go ahead.
I'm using
When-
my lute to lighten up the mood, and I just play a little ditty. Basically, I'm just playing the Rickroll song on repeat until everyone goes to sleep.
All right, nice.
Uh,
So, go ahead.
I'm going to look for a spot where I'm more or less alone. Perhaps
Mhm.
further back in the basket.
It's quite
And I'm-
spacious, so you can quite easily find a darkened corner as the sun sets. A lot of the light that's permeating through the cloth canopy fades away.
I'm going to get out Charles and have the serious conversation with this tortoise in my hand about why I have to transform him from a tortoise into a bat. And I convince him, and I try to placate his feelings that he's perfect as he is, but needs must be met. And then I'm going to send him to his pocket dimension and resummon him in form of a bat. And I burn this very, very expensive incense. So from the corner that I sit there and chant and cast that spell, there comes this very nice scent of sandalwood and jasmine.
Splendid.
Nice.
You see, they seem to have a calming effect on a lot of the wood elves. I mean, they have stationed sentries around the rim of the basket. But yeah, you're between you and Cray's music. There's a calming atmosphere that seems to settle in, and you see a lot of the tension go out of a number of the wood elves. They seem a bit more relaxed than when you first saw them, and you get the impression this is probably the first relief they've had in a long, long time.
To elaborate, once again, I'm still playing the Rickroll music on repeat as sandalwood is drifting around in a calming manner.
Gwen will be sitting a distance away from Syri, enough to give her privacy, but still be in the presence of the incense for her purposes. So she begins to. At first, she says, "Oh, I love this song," and then with a smile on her face, she closes her eyes to pray to Ayun, and she recites the commandments of Ayun to seek
To
and
the
promote
tune of
knowledge.
Rickrolling.
Yeah.
But you just hear this the snoring murmur come from the couch, and just like cheesy.
I like how you risk playing something like that with Shaz in the room. You're a braver man than me. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to end the session there, I think. It's a good place to leave off. I know it says one shot, but with the way this is going, I think it's going to have to be a two-parter. So,
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay!
What we might well do, we might well look to do this again, possibly next week. We will work out the details and everybody's availability later on. For those of you out there watching, please keep an eye on the Twitter feed for Fumbles and Fame and the Twitch streams. There will be updates as to when the next games kick off, and we will let you know as time goes on if you want to see the continuation of this. I must say, so far I've had an immense amount of fun,
Sounds.
and I've no doubt the players have as well.
Oh yes.
There we go.
Can I just say, there were two goals tonight. One was to turn D&D into a dating sim, and the other was to get Sam to talk to himself with the NPCs, and both things happened, and I'm happy.
Hey!
Yay.
So yeah, glad you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you do want to partake in the Fumbles and Fame community, you are more than welcome. The Discord channel is out there and it's down there for you guys to have a look at. We've got games upcoming on Monday, I believe. There's Princess of the Apocalypse with DM Ben, so please feel free to tune into that. The guys are very much new to the Fumbles and Fame community, but we're quite happy to have them. Do check them out. We've got Dungeons and Dragons Online on Tuesday with Stan and Ken. So if you guys like the game streams and you want to see a bit more of the virtual side of things, go check that out. And I think that's it off the top of my head. There may be another game Friday, Saturday time. It might be us. And then on Sunday next week, we've got Tomb of Annihilation. Tahina stars in that. And it is fantastic. So do check us out. Thank you very much for tuning in with us tonight. It's been great fun. And we hope to see you again in the future.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
watching. Join us on
Bye-bye.
Discord.